You know, we're winning because we're working hard still, we're not getting complacent, and I have some of the best players in the world. So I'll take it. And it feels nice to win. So a win is a win, I always say. And that Haven game was a bit, but a win is a win. I was still happy, so yeah.
I mean, we've seen Fnatic at this position before, not the undefeated sense of this caliber, but Lothar last year they didn't lose a single game in the group bracket stage, the group stage. They go into playoffs and they kind of drop the ball a little bit here and there. Are you expecting them to maybe fall off now, or they can kind of sit back and watch other teams fight for the playoff spots?
I don't think they will like fall off in general, but I do think they have a little bit more flexibility now, and maybe will allow players to explore a different kind of scenarios in the game, maybe give more freedom to the players to experiment a little bit more in the game.
Yeah, and I will say also, because this is the rescheduled game, the last time this game was meant to be played, Icebox was still in the pool, but I do have to let you guys know at home, that would not be the case for today. It is going to be Bind and Kukuka. How big of a difference does this make, especially for Koi?
Well, especially for Koi, the problem with Koi, and I think we will develop on this next time that we see this week, is the fact that they do not have a strong map pool. They're trying to overachieve by acting like a team that has everything settled, always banning for the opponent, always peeking for the opponent, not having a home ground, not having somewhere where we can actually feel them grow. Everything looks like an unfinished job. So for them, I don't think it makes that much of a change, because they would have banned the Icebox.
Well, let's have a look as we head into the map vetoes and see what they do here. Of course, Lothar, maybe once again, I was going to say, maybe Fnatic can play Pearl now, they're not going to be worried about it, but I was wrong.
I don't think that's one thing that I never expect Fnatic to change. They seem to be adamant in every single metagame to have just one map that they will always ban.
And they didn't first pick Haven. What do you think about this?
I mean, it's definitely a surprise. They have decided to play Koi's card into them and being like, we're actually going to pick for you. We're going to go to the map in which you've gotten 2 rounds in total in your attack for the last 2 games. So it's going to be crazy. We were talking about teams not banning Bind. Koi comes and breaks it. They always destroy the narrative, don't they?
I mean, that's the interesting thing, because Koi, we would have expected them to ban Icebox anyway if this game had played before. They banned the Bind, and Fracture has been floated here.
I was actually expecting Koi to first ban Fracture, because that's something that is so scary to play against Fnatic. But as you said, Kakuka, the map pool from Koi is, let's say, flexible, and not in a good way. It's just like, it's like saying, oh, we can play every map. Yeah, but every map not exactly in a way that you should.
Let's say that you're not afraid of playing any map. Let's just say it like that.
Right, and that's a big problem. And I feel like right now, even though this doesn't look scary when you see the maps being picked in the first place, but when you're actually going to make vote reviews, when you actually see how the teams are being, like what kind of preparation both teams have on every single map, the difference is huge between Fnatic and Koi.
Also, can we just take a look at Ascend? Because Fnatic has decided to start on the attack. They don't care. They need the reps. They need to practice. They're like, does that Ascend defense too easy?
I know we're joking about it, but do you feel like that is the approach that they're having?
Totally. I mean, they decide to play Lotus against a team that could be good on Lotus. Getting closer to playoffs and also to go into Japan, you have to test these things out.
Look, Fnatic is the one team in EMEA that actually has better stats on attack on Ascent than on defense. They have 53% win rate on attack, 47 on defense. So that might be a little bit biased, but also like, yeah, let's just jump in. This is your graphic, Kakuka.
Oh, yes.
Lotus.
So this is the first 10 seconds of the attack of each teams, okay? So if you take a look at Koi's, you see that middle part of the map, that orb they're going to try and capture there on B is something that they've been, you know, pretty adamant to get in the past. And them just peeking out there, shooting through the box is something that Giants, for example, was very able to read through. On the other side, looking at Fnatic on the attack, we see a lot going towards ASAT, and it's because of the Odin play, something that Koi is going to have to deal with, because I cannot wait to see the Odin today.
As you guys can see on your screen, this is tiny bit troll, I think. There's a couple of things that's not how it's supposed to be right now.
No.
But ignore Ignore the player names, guys. Ignore the player names, but this, I believe, is the comp that both teams were running.
This is what we would like.
We saw them. I mean, Dirk
on Viper would have been sick.
Listen.
I'm down
out of his comfort zone. Maybe we get into a triple controller meta soon.
Leo Raze is very normal, though. That's actually normal. They could do that.
Yeah, I mean, also, I just think it's interesting because even though the names are swapped and all of that, it's funny because Koi changed the roles in the last time that they played this map.
True.
So Koldamenta was on the Sova, then he moves on to the Omen with Starkso was playing, and Starkso, which we know him as a player, is the kind of guy that feels the responsibility on his shoulders and always wants to go a step forward when things are not working. So try to play the hero. Now you give him the raise. Now he's feeling comfortable. Now he can do everything that he wants.
Yeah, I feel like Starkso has to be the guy that will be on the spearheading this team because he's the one without fear. Like he is the one also that likes to sacrifice himself to make sure that, you know, that the team will have a higher chance of winning a round.
They do indeed, but what are Koi's chances now we've seen the map pick? They don't have to play Icebox or Bind. Or Haven at this point.
The thing is that they have the reps on Fnatic, on Lotus. They feel it's a map that they've decided to play in the past, that they have not been scared of, that they definitely also have the things that they do not have to repeat again. So, and after that, picking Ascent, I think that they do have a chance. I am believing.
But to have a chance, they need to counter the strategy that Fnatic used in the last week, which is huge A control. That A control with the Viper wall that just cuts through it, and then the Odin to control space on both attack and defense is huge.
Well, we'll see if they can do that, but first it's time to bring the players onto stage. We were owed this game. I cannot wait to see what both of them can do. Give a warm welcome to Fnatic and Koi.
Got the vision, yeah, we groundbreaking. Now we tryna take the whole game and make it bigger. Koi. Yeah, wanna be a top boy, keep the movement flowing, don't stop, boy. Wanna drive a new car straight out of the lot, boy. Keep your mind focused on the plot, boy. Yeah, wanna be a top boy, keep the movement flowing, don't stop, boy. Wanna drive a new car straight out of the lot, boy. Keep your mind focused on the plot, boy.
This is the first time this season we're having 2 games here on the Wednesday. Of course, this game was originally the postponed game. It also gave both of these teams probably a little bit more time to prep for each other. And Lothar, if you're Koi, you would take that time against Fnatic.
Well, if you took that time to prep a little bit, then I expect Koi to aggressively take space on defense on the B side. That's something that Fnatic, I would assume, is a small gap in the attacking side and allows the defense to take a little bit of space there. But at the same time, you have to be very aware that Alpha is going to be guarding at some point that passage, but I feel like it's one of those things that you have to explore if you want to find weakness in Fnatic's game plan.
The list of homework that Koi has had to do for this week is massive. Not only everything is on the line for them, as you said, Yinsu, they need to win these games, especially this week, and they have to play 2 of them. They cannot show weakness if they want to make it to playoffs.
Interestingly, if they lose to Fnatic, they still have a chance, but they have to beat Heretics more than they have to beat Fnatic. Which is very ironic. But we've already seen a surprise when it comes to maps. Are we going to see any surprises, Lothar, with Fnatic's comp? Do they change that comp here?
Personally, that's my opinion. It's probably not going to happen, but I would love to see the change of the Fate. I feel like the Fate is a little bit inconsequential.
You're not going to get that, sorry.
Yeah, here we go. But yeah, I feel like the breach that Chronicle would be here on would have been amazing, but I don't assume we're going to see any changes.
No changes also on the side of Koi. This is the composition that they played the last time that they played this map. I was mentioning that swap that they do with Koldamenta moving away from the Sova, Starkso, you know, giving that Omen to him and try to get in something that, you know, maybe he's more comfortable with, just playing and supporting. It's going to be definitely interesting to see the solo controller Omen against the pressure that a double controller with Viper Astra is going to have onto you.
Yeah, the double controller difference here is huge. Koi is gonna let's say, struggle in bolstering defenses on 2 sides just because of the lack of Viper. Viper has this kind of flexibility. You're going to see that on defense from Fnatic, that the wall goes through B towards A and helps with tree control on the rotating door. That is something that Koi will struggle with, and I feel like they have to, because of that, they have to bring the fight to the opponent on the defense side that they have to be a little bit more aggressive, then Fnatic has to be on their defense side.
I mean, Alpha, please wake up before the game starts. We need you. We need. I think he heard me. Or Boaster would have been like, "Dude, come on, what are you doing?"
We have Kamek as well here. I just saw him, hugging with the entire team, so he can always replace Alpha.
Yeah, I mean,
How important it is to have a 6th player.
It feels like a long time since we've seen Kamek play as well. Who knows? Maybe Fnatic will even bring him in for some more games. They do have 3 games left. Again, they didn't get to play this game in the week that they were supposed to. You guys kind of said that Koi, they do have a chance. That there is a chance. You feel a little bit more comfortable than usual. But what about Fnatic? What would you not want to see from them? Even though, you know, it's okay to experiment at this stage, you have already qualified, but surely we still want to see the same Lothar discipline that we saw not last week but the week before.
I don't mind them not using any new strats, any new playbook. They don't want to reveal that, but working on that fundamentals that they were lacking in the previous week would probably be the goal for this week, to just focus on that a little bit more. And I also spoke with Dirk, and he pointed out so much how they train to not overheat and how much of a difference DRX, how much of a difference it makes in the past 2 years when Dirk started playing with Fnatic. It's like how different the team approaches now the game, you know. So yeah, I would love to see that being a little bit more ironed out in this week.
Yeah, especially for Lotus. I think that it's a good pick. It's something that they're comfortable. I would love to see, as you were mentioning, maybe coming in from the next 2 games if they want to even work more onto that. I mean, it have worked in the past without them playing in officials. Maybe they don't even need it. But not only today, but tomorrow I think they're playing again, right? I want to see extended map pool. I want them probably going back to bind. I have the question: if Koi, because Koi just saw last week's bind, they were like, yeah, we're not going there. They definitely have something cooked up. They decided to ban it. Would have Fnatic picked that bind if it wasn't for Koi banning it?
I mean, I think that would be really interesting. And the good thing is Fnatic, they play again tomorrow, so you might get some of those questions answered, because I'm not quite sure if KC would want to go into picking that bind, considering they didn't ban the bind last week either. Lovely, Alpha. The cameraman's really stitching him up today. But like you both said, it felt like if we didn't see Fnatic at their best last week, we were a little bit disappointed. But how much of that did it come down to Vitality as well? Do you feel like Koi are a team right now that can challenge to the same caliber as Vitality?
So, there are 2 chances here. We see a Koi that is ready to fight, that know what's on the line, and it's going to come in and destroy whomever is on the server. It doesn't matter if your name is Durka or whomever. Or we see a Koi that's already feeling defeated.
And that was the Koi that we have seen actually last week, because the way that they were attacking, of course, the pacing between the players was really abysmal. And that's something that they definitely had to do in the vote reviews from the last week.
I mean, we're looking here at Starkso versus Leo. You guys already mentioned how instrumental Starkso is for a team like Koi, but what about Leo?
I think it's both these flex players mean a lot for their teams, because they're the ones that always perform. Like, is Leo, we know with the shock dart kills and everything, you know, crazy that he can do on the server, definitely flashy that we enjoy. But it's not only that, they're both very reliable players that have had insane, not only stats, but performances in the past that they have made us believe that they both deserve a spot here.
We have a head-to-head between those 2 players. You might think if someone is new to the scene, oh, those are similar players, but you cannot be even more wrong when it comes to the playstyle. They might play similar characters from time to time, but the way that they approach the game, there's a huge difference. Starkso is the more unhinged.
Yes.
You know, he's going for those crazy plays. He goes for the TP,
more emotional,
the backside, and then you have Leo, who is the more stoic. He stands his ground, and he's like the one that you can always count on to be behind you and support you.
I need to bring this up to you guys, because Leo is currently leading globally as the highest shock dart kills. By the way, again, he played a whole best of 3 less than everyone else on this list, and he is still leading globally. And more impressively, production, if we can have this graphic for a little bit longer, because I want to bad chest about Leo real quick, is that he has double the amount of first shock dart kills than he does first death. Double. He has way more shock dart kills.
That means he just baits the entire team. That is a legit, you know, stuff.
I mean, it's actually insane.
He stands his ground, you know? Let's see on a stand. Let's see on a stand.
He's got 7 first deaths.
Yeah, that's crazy.
In week 7 of this tournament.
But it's also easier when you have Dirk in your team that wins like 80% of his first duels. So it's like you cannot die first, and Dirk kills them.
all that you can hear in the server is Durka saying, yeah, Leo, you're good for this one as well.
I will say that I have quite a funny tidbit about Leo's Shock Dark kills, because I did say to him when I saw him, I was like, hey, did you know that you're leading globally in Shock Dark kills? And he was like, oh, that's cool. And I went, you want to guess who's second? And without even hesitating, he went, must be Derek. And I was like, how did you know that? He was like, you don't think I keep up with all of the other server players in the other regions to see what lineups they have and what they're doing? Oh. And I was like, wow, okay, so he's this intricate about his...
That is a lot of work. That is a lot of work. Like watching the Endless of the Secret League,
say it's a lot of work.
The Sovas, and he's like, yeah, I know how to do this one. Oh, this one's new.
Yeah.
You say that's a lot of work, but that would be my anticipation.
When you're in
if
Fnatic,
you're tier
yes.
1 in any tier 1 team, not only Fnatic, but that's the level of commitment you need to have to perform, and you need to have to be ready to play an agent. You cannot just wing it and just, you know, let me play this character this week and I'm not going to be best at it because I didn't practice. That's the mindset that you need to have to be good at this game at this level.
Be the best at this point, right?
Oh yeah, or be the best.
Yeah, like they're not. What I mean is that they're not all players. They should be held to the same standard, but they're not. Like if you're in Fnatic, you have to be best in slot. You have to be the top on your game. You have to stay on top of everybody else, because it's not only what you do here, it's what you do in playoffs, and it's what you do in the next international event. We need them to be that team that gets 2 titles.
I'll be honest also, if you're in an environment like in Fnatic, it's kind of hard to not be that kind of person when you see how much work Bosta and Mini put in.
Yeah, well, speaking of best in slot, we've got some of the best in the building right here. You guys can see them. It is Dez and Ender. Hey, guys, that was a nice one. Give us a smile.
Aww. Thank you, Yinsu. How's it going?
Good, you know. Some of the best up here.
The best in slot, apparently.
There. Best in slot. There you go.
Well, she said, not me.
Good to know. But you know what? We've got some of the best in slot here down in Fnatic. That's how you do a transition right there, Dez.
It's a segue.
Koi with a very tough task ahead of them, facing down the Titans in Fnatic.
That is the battle.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot on the line. Now, I will say, if you need a little bit of hopium and you're coming in here, Koi have won 1 series so far in EMEA.
On the
back in
day.
week 1, day 1, and they won on these same maps. Now, were they playing Fnatic? No, but that's what I've got for you.
One of them was 20-18 in scoreline as well.
That are the Lotus, as a matter of fact. So maybe we can get a banger. Thank you, thank you.
Oh, right, I'm loaded up on the hopium. Yeah, the fun thing for me is thinking about this is, would you rather have faced Fnatic earlier or face them now? Would you rather have faced them closer to your only win or even further away from it?
Yeah, and closer to the proximity of winning lock-in. I don't know. That is it's a tough question to answer. One of life's tougher ones.
Pretty unstoppable so far is the best way you can summarize Fnatic. I remember their attacks on this map previously, incredibly good at controlling the orbs and then using it to rotate around. And the number of times we actually saw a rotate over towards A, then back in through baby door Ender, as you so lovingly call it, and I now captured onto. That was the kind of go-to play for them time and time again, and it feels like we're doing it here. They've stepped forward, they've got the orb on towards Mound, and now they're rotating over towards Ruins.
Yeah, you know, they were really, I think, expecting maybe a little bit of early aggression. So 1 minute, 6 seconds on the clock. They're using all this utility to re-clear over towards Rebel.
Is it right?
The rotates are coming in very quickly. You can see it, 4 players already. Killjoy turret taken offline, so it really is just Coldamenta that would give any information over. And if Fnatic get a good read on this, they could break down the baby door and move over into B.
Well, look at the spike as well. Still sat largely towards spawn, now looking to move forwards as well.
Oh, they don't go
I think
here.
I'm with you. If Fnatic get the read on this, that hey, there are actually 3 or 4 players sat on side of site, then a rotate away doesn't feel too unfeasible. But so far, they're so hard committed. They're inside tree. They really want to make this work.
Yeah, they finally have broken the door, but because Bosta was really taking his time and not going for the lurk, it's going to be a fight here.
Oh my god, the fight.
Holy.
No, it's a slaughter. Leo cleaning house, and Koi absolutely eviscerated on site. They do get 1 back, but it feels too little, too late, I'm afraid.
Koi bit on everything that round. It was Durka that just solo went into baby door, and then Koi tried to retake with the team. Now Chronicle lurks in through stairs. The round completely falls apart because Koi took everything Fnatic did at face value.
The thing is, on paper, strategically, it felt like Koi made the right decisions. They rotated over, they held fast when Fnatic were pushing in, and it looked like they had a numbers advantage, but this crossfire that's just set up, just brutal.
Yeah.
2-3 players on different angles, whereas really Koi all stuck coming forward from the same position.
Koi were convinced that there were like 3-4 people, I think, that ran into towards B there, as opposed to just Durka, and that completely fries them on the attack, or on the defense, I guess. You're trying to re-attack into the space.
On their counter-attack.
Oh, okay, I like it.
That's what you want.
Koi strike back.
Now, you're going to see exactly the same again, I imagine, here. Just constantly looking for control of the orb. You can see now they're trying to step on their way forward to look for it. But quite an aggressive bit of land taken as well by Koi out towards A site, really pushing up towards spawn here with the one-way.
Yeah, Fnatic like to spread out early a lot. You'll see this sort of a 3-2 split, and this Killjoy turret that watches in B. Well, yes, it catches any sort of early aggression push down your way. It also allows safe passage for the rotates through spawn, making sure no one in mid can actually swing onto the angle because the turret would prime, and it allows them to, like you're saying, play for that orb by mound, leave a player posted here, and rotate back without being worried about anyone hard holding that angle in mid.
It's very slow, making full use of the round, as again we've seen Fnatic do several times. No rush to run in and plant when you've got a minute and 40 to play with. Still going to try and find a fight here on their push through. It looks like it's going to be in towards A as they move in with some pace here as well. Chronicle in.
Minecrafting through the door there as Stars, though. He's like, let me out of here. The blood trail on him. It's brutal.
Yeah, it's the battle of the rifles, right? They're just looking for what's more favorable. How can they get away without losing anything in this round?
And this is the actual real push into B, looks like. See, you can see Boaster all the way up forward. So they are going to commit in there. Interesting, they sort of left Durka posted over by Mound, but he has the Marshal, so not looking to go flying to sight as much as the previous. And yeah, tough time to be alive. Ouch. So better just to move on to the next round, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, you don't really have high expectations during round two anyway, but even that felt pretty punishing. 1 kill across the 2 rounds so far for the side of Koi.
And respect to Fnatic, look how good their orb economy has been. Like, Boaster hasn't done anything. Good for him. We don't care about his ult so much. 5 orbs on Chronicle, Leo, and Durka. That is fantastic, whereas Koi, it's spread across everyone. So Fnatic, while they won't have their ult going into this round, they're still going to have a buy in round 4 because they are light armor enthusiasts. And they're going to have probably 2 of those ults at least going forward to really put the hurt down on Koi.
For almost all intents and purposes, this is starting to look a bit like a full round. I know it's mainly, well, it is all half armor for the side of Fnatic. The Bulldog really the only weapon you look at and say, okay, not Fnatic at full power, but again, given how the first 2 rounds went, you'd be remiss forgiven for saying that this looks like it's going to be a pretty stompy 3rd round as well.
I mean, just losing Stars though at the front is really tough. The Hawk does tell them that no one's pushed into Rebel at least, so I was wondering if Fnatic maybe wanted to try and instantly capitalize and push into that space after the false info was given, but no, it'll be that late split in towards C or B. If they can control up through mid, control the switch, they have so many options to pivot between sites.
There we go, 1 kill comes through immediately, traded back by Coldamenta though. Koi at least managed to hold on to Mound for a brief few seconds. Fnatic now fully forced them back though as the second also has fallen down, so this is looking a little bit ropey already for the side of Koi. 2 players fast rotating over, but for now there's only the Killjoy sat on site.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough. Shados is here and can try to fight, but they're opening the door as soon as they see the Killjoy over there. Still a couple of mollies on the site, but this late lurk from Durka is going to be so pivotal. If he beats Wolfen, the round is over for Koi. If Wolfking can win that one, all of a sudden they're back in it.
Well, it feels like it's definitely going that way. Durka's still lurking on towards C. They know there's one here, gets the read and finds Wolfen. A second one falls down too. It's absolute tatters for Koi and their economy here in round 3. I think we all expected a bit of a stomp, but maybe not quite to this level.
And now the hunt is on. Remove that gun. Fnatic on top. With a little combo at the end for the KO. Gotta love to see it. Love it. And I mean, I think we're going to see a lot of this, I'll be honest, from Fnatic, sort of teetering between the 2 sites there. I mean, they sent Durka into back bend, and then they just open the door and leave him there. They're perfectly happy to sort of abandon him on that mission, sort of use their numbers to bully their way back into sight. Durka, at that point, had sort of given up on the fight. He just saw the tip of the head, but he was ready. Hey, got the numbers advantage. I'll fall back to the team and just leave that constant threat available over to Koi. So Koi are going to have to get creative or more convincing in these holds, because it wasn't like that time all the Killjoy utility was committed on C. No, it was just a turret. And then the mollies were on B, and that didn't really prove to be any issue to Fnatic.
Nope, sees the one up close as well. A little bit of chip damage coming down towards Boaster. Gives you a bit of encouragement here on the side of Koi. But Rubble's a 2-sided scrap going on here as well, but Rubble seems to be the main point of aggression. It's Chronicle Boasted up high, finds one, goes for the pistol, but can't find the second.
Shados has to find something, but he's
got 5 HP.
He's 5!
Now, what can he do?
Nothing. And the whole squad comes in.
Yeah.
it all falls apart. And you can see, like, there is some theory there. If you know Fnatic like to split up 3-2, looking for early aggression can work, especially if you can catch the 2, which has been rubble virtually every single round. That, of course, in Eco, they're going on both sides, which is, you know, just trying to be like, okay, can we flip a coin and win one of them? Then if we're even numbers, we can get some rifles. We'll be, like, marginally happy. But in the future, if we see this aggression, I think it'll be much more like one-sided, where there'll be a strong side of the map. They're pushing with 3 or so players. The weak side, where the Killjoy is going to be locking down and looking for the stall. But I think we might actually get some mid-play from Starzo. You can see him walking in front here, but Fnatic are ready for that, as a matter of fact.
The classic. We saw this back in week 3, week 4. Just railing things out with the own. See what can be found. Durka going inside a bit of a spot of bother here as well. Utility coming in to try and save him here as he backs away. Will keep his life, but down to just 24 HP.
Yeah, but Shados uses an ultimate, gets nothing off of it. Fnatic have those big 3 ults. I was saying they did such a good job of funneling the orbs into, so now Fnatic can regroup around this C site and punish. Good scouting with the Fade as well. Look at the util
the raise. I was about to say, could get caught up by the raise there, but just about manages to dodge away. Wonder if we'll see one of those ults come through here as well. I mean, really looking towards the Fade. You got 4 players all boxed up, looking in towards Mound, now looking to slowly back themselves away. Koi have retaken the ground they lost, but at what cost? I'm looking at the utility stack on B though. Ouch.
It's been there before, and the thing is, with Shados playing in window with the fault line ready to go, that is a kill if you overextend. They actually popped the util early. It's a 1-for-1 only.
They're going to rotate out.
Oh, they're going to go back into C. Check this out.
Hey, yeah, they've got 30 seconds to play here. That's time to make a move. They look for it as well. They find 2. Alfie here finds his 3rd into the round as well. It feels like it's the 1 as the ult now does come across the site. But they rotate out towards C using the ult as bait.
Fnatic are going everywhere and to nowhere all at the same time. The clock is working down though, 12 seconds. Boaster falls. The round's just over.
They've held on. Koi finally putting up a defense here against the members of Fnatic in what felt like a little bit of indecision. Sure, they made the calls in the mid-round to rotate between the sites, but sadly, could get nothing out of it.
That's a tough spot to be in. I think Fnatic, their own Fatal baited them slightly because it gets 1 ping on the B site. So you assume, okay, there's at least 1 person on B, maybe a second. Going to C is the safer call because there could be 1 or there could be none, right? But they go in sort of haphazardly, the spike falls, then Boaster is trying to take a chance. Even though it was a 3-on-2, I think the decision to maybe split up and allow Killjoy, Alfier to hang out in B meant that once they lost this player, it comes down to just ones.
I'll go back to that earlier point again, is that Fnatic are a team that don't mind playing it slow, right? They'll happily execute with 10, 15, 20 seconds left. You might even hear yourself think at the best of times when that's firing away.
Yeah, and sometimes they send it, so Durka gets a lot of chip damage onto Cold Dementa there, who has to TP back a couple of times to get out of here. Mollies have both been popped from Wolfen, so the actual stall power is not the strongest. Trex has walked over on minimap. You can see he gave the heal over to Cold Dementa, so he's going to be perfectly happy with himself. Or themselves. Actually, it's unclear how many people Omen is.
Could be many.
Or if he's an octopus. Ask Sideshow about that.
I will not. Chronicles still obviously has his ultimate online as well. I thought for a second we might just see a full send on towards C with it, but Fnatic have made that classic rotate again. They got control of Mound, they got the orb, they've now backed themselves away. Chronicles really looking to use that in this round as well. You want to make sure you can get a second up before we switch sides. Now's the time to make use of it. Tucking in closely is Durka trying to go for the push. Just coming in through tree. It's another hard commit in towards the A site here out of Fnatic.
A lot of utility to try and stall out here. Chronicle takes down Starzo. And now it's just Trex hiding in the smoke. He's going to fall off of the site. Koi are going to rely more on Cold Dementa's flank, coming in all the way back through spawn B. You can see Fnatic have a good setup to try and fight back and turn around into that flanker.
Almost managed to catch him out there as well, with the aftershock coming through, just not connecting, managing to get away just in time, and now it's a difficult spot for Koi. They've got Cold Dementa on the flank, which is a starting point, but he's essentially in a 1 versus 3 here, at least for a couple of seconds. Still, Koi have bunched up on site here, look to be able to take the advantage. Going to be fun here coming in for Durka, 1 drop.
trenched on site, but also playing two one-off positions a couple of times in a row. You know, Boaster maybe if in near dodge. You'll love to see it.
Double TP to get away.
But yeah, Boaster fights in front of the turret here, as opposed to maybe waiting for that, swinging with the teammate. So I think Fnatic got a little ahead of themselves in that situation. Relied on the individuals, and Koi went out in the retake, so props to them on that. Now they've got 3 huge ultimates. Starzo's just one off, so he's going to look for a pick over by A with the operator. If he gets that, Koi can just fall and play full retake setups. Their ults are crazy on the retake.
Immortal the Odin as well. Still, with a couple of rounds on under their belt here, you're starting to feel that momentum build for them as well. It's not just, of course, about the economy. It's about the players themselves. A little bit flat in the first few rounds. It is a bit hard being the punching bag week after week, but I think here, at least you're seeing something.
One of the things that I've liked seeing from Koi the last 2 rounds, that late mid-round reaggress, or mid-round mound reaggress over here, in this area that you're seeing on your screen. That turned into flank the previous round a couple ago. They had a very forward position that would have been good. And you can see 1:05 on the clock. They're opening the door with Trex. 2 players swinging out around mound. But Fnatic, off of that info, seeing 3 players over there, quick to take the space on A.
I think it's a good read because, again, we know Fnatic historically love to push into mound early on. They love to get the ult, but then look for a rotate to either go in through baby door or pushing towards A. So by contesting that so early aggressively, you're denying some of those ults away. It could well have turned into a second or third ult being online for the side here, but I can't ignore that we have 2 ults on side as out comes the pit. We've also got the Killjoy ult for another round. Here it comes at the same time as well, Ender.
Yeah, it's going to force them out of the Viper ult. Now, Chronicle, he can fall out of that ult for a moment at the last second and come back in. That'll be okay, but they're going to know the exact line he's coming in from. They're getting on the spike, but Alfier finds 2!
Almost a third as well, but's forced to reload on 7 HP. Finds a third as well. That's the kind of cleanup we're used to seeing as Boaster closes things out. Fnatic back on top.
What just happened? Koi think they're safe with the ultimate and then just run into an unkillable machine inside Turi. Just tearing heads off, and any of the momentum you thought Koi had instantly gets shut down. I mean, 1 kill here maybe, but you can see the shoulder around. It's a wide swing with the Odin. Slightly delayed on that second peak, I think, and then there's 2 players that get hit by the counter ult.
Come on, then.
I mean, brutal.
Come on, then.
Because they were relying so much on those tree players to be successful, right? Kill Alfier, shut down that KJ, but no, and he's just charging up the orbs at an alarming rate after slamming it in the previous.
That's it. And again, you're seeing another one of those fights around man like we keep on mentioning. It's interesting because you think back up for Fnatic, obviously Icebox used to be their go-to map. Bind, we now know they can play still incredibly well, just like the good old days, but looking at things like Haven, sounds a bit crazy to say, not entirely dissimilar to this map in that it's 3 site, only everything is pulled more further forward for the defenders, or for the attackers, sorry, those rotates with the doors, incredibly easy. So playstyle-wise, it does feel quite similar for Fnatic, and again, that pace, normally teams struggle to keep up, but I'll give it to Koi. Although they are down 5 and 2, they are contesting areas of the map that normally teams would give Fnatic for free.
Especially when they're light on the rifles. They've fallen off those positions now, but they were looking to fight a couple over towards Mound and Rubble at the start. Now, I like this move from Trex. We've seen Fnatic's A hits. The sort of Viper Wall allows them to wrap around the left side of site, and then they love to open the door and go for that push. So playing a little bit more aggressively towards Tree can work, but of course it allows that B split to be even more punishing.
Ult from Stark, so impactless there, no damage across onto the side of Fnatic. They've kind of split themselves up between the A and B side, but B here it's gonna be. Wolfen finds the opening point, they're all stuck inside Smokey, completely caught out by the fade.
Just out of range of the Molly though.
Everything is painful, at least for the side of Koi, and with that spike now down, it's a big retake ask.
Coldamenta maybe gonna play with the door he opens, and Boaster should be able to hear that. You can see Fnatic, again, abandoned in solo spots. They've got to win these out on their own. But Koi are working as a unit on that site.
Leo almost whiffing there, but does find Trex before he can take it down the other side. It feels like there's far too many angles being held here by Fnatic. Koi are going to try their very, very best, tap in to try and bait them out. Boaster finds 1. There's 2 going back across to the side of Koi, but it feels like it's all up Fnatic. And sure enough it is as Leo gets the close.
Fnatic win out, but only by a single player. Usually Fnatic so clean, I feel, especially in the anti-ecos, but I've seen a couple of times now they're leaving themselves in positions where they're taking bigger gambles individually. There you see it at first with Durka walking into the smoke. He loves to flip the map and push spawn on this side on B and on C. Nothing too shocking there, but then afterwards, sort of playing on those solo positions, controlling 3 of the entryways into site, but divvying up the positions makes it, yes, hard to deal with if those players are finding the opening kills and they can fall back and leave that pressure, but that makes me a little bit nervous for Fnatic if they continue to play in this way the later we get against a real buy. Because that was, I think, just 1 rifle that was taken into that round, and Koi made it so tight.
It's not even just that, it's more just that they look a little more, I don't even want to say control for Fnatic, but slower probably is the slightly cruel word to use. It is slower than what we've seen out of them historically, and it's given Koi a little bit of breathing room to make what look like really effective rotates, and I'm hoping they're seeing that themselves here. Yes, they've got the timeout coming in. They know they need to have more rounds on the board by the time we get towards half-time. So a few words from the coach in to rebalance the score here, and hopefully we see Koi fight their way back in, because I do think across these rounds they've had some good ones.
They definitely have. Again, switching it in the last round, well, it didn't end up mattering, but playing heavier towards Tree, I think, is a gamble they can look to take. Here, they're going to play very early for Rubble control with a fault line. You know, we don't see too much breach. Some teams like the breach, Fnatic not so much. Fnatic actually no real flashes versus the double flash comp on Koi. And while breach, I think, falls off a little bit in like the mid-round when the fault line isn't available, does usually mean you can control early space very effectively. Doesn't matter this round, as Fnatic just sort of blitz on through. And the fault line wasn't even used to stall them down.
Trying to take ground here that normally isn't afforded to them because they focus so heavily on Mound, as we keep on saying, but Shados has been sat around Baby Door for a couple of rounds here, and he's been domed out pretty early on. That does give Fnatic an easy rotate in towards B if they want to make use of it. There's not really one there to contest them, 2 players rotating over, but there comes the ult, and that will signify to the side of Koi exactly what's coming.
They see the 2 players, and they want to hunt them down. The bloodlines on the ground let them in, but look at this, Chronicle waiting inside Baby Door, trades 1 for 1, just even. Durka takes 2 and a third on site. Insanity from the Duelist, and that round is over.
Oh, but a 90-degree spray transfer at the end there as well. Beautiful stuff to watch. Mwah. 6 and 2. Spikes down. This one done and dusted. So for Koi, the timeout maybe not as effective as they would have hoped.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused what happened at the start, because I didn't see the early utility investment. There was definitely not a fault line coming out of Shados. In fact, very quickly took the space. Then Shados was sort of fighting, unsupported by utility, lost the positioning in Baby Door.
Could you find a second here as well? Sees Leo. Carwin is gunfight and gets tagged on the way out as well.
Yeah, that's rough.
I absolutely love that animation.
Yeah. I feel like I would get a little bored of it after a while if I was the one on the receiving end over and over. It's a good, like, mental edge takedown. Oh, finisher? Yeah, that's the one. But yeah, that spray transfer, poor Starzo didn't even know it hit him. Starzo's like literally Anakin from the episode 1, like tinkering with the little robots. And then Darth Maul tries to run him over with his speeder. Doesn't even know who this kid is. Just looks to murder him. That's Durka.
That's Durka in general.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who you are in front of him. It's what he does best. So here again, we're going to see Fnatic go back to that old default. Starting out towards Mound side, hoping to contest there and control the orb, get some control to make use of the rotate in towards B, because it leaves Koi guessing. Are they pushing down through mid to get towards B? Are they going straight towards C? Here, though, they're actually aggressing in towards Spawn Ender. I haven't seen this one before. They've managed to find one, instant trade out back to the other side, and now suddenly Fnatic are forced into a hard decision. Do we force in towards Mound without full information what we're running into, or do we risk getting backstabbed? Well, Koi opts and say, you know what, we'll take the 1, we'll get out of dodge.
I think Koi had another tough call too, which is like, do we keep fighting into spawn where we're going to get mowed down?
Yeah.
But that means we leave the rifle, or do we try to retrieve it? I think they make the right call, now moving all the way back over towards C, but I love this from Fnatic, sort of reading what you expect the enemy team to do, because the enemy team is thinking, yeah, you pivot immediately into C, but no. There's just one player now on the A site to hold off. They know Cold Mentor's been forced back through Baby Door off the Prowler's information. So pretty soon they're going to realize it's an open A site, and the best thing for Koi would be if Durka slams the ultimate and doesn't find anyone there, but Fnatic are playing it very patiently, almost too patiently, 25 seconds. There's no util to stall them here.
It's kind of been their shtick, is that slow, controlled ability to rotate very quickly when they want to, just turning things up and down as and when required. Cold Mentor giving himself away. Fnatic have full control of the A site here as well. Koi maybe a little bit too strong a hold in towards B, expecting a back rotate to come through. But Fnatic have now got that control they need out towards Tree.
They're playing all off-site because Shados has the Rolling Thunder, so they don't want to get caught by that. Instead, retreating to play double tree so they can open and play around through this door. Durka's the only one in that awkward position, but this could pay off big for him.
Oh, Oh!
Or for Coldamenta.
Coldamenta on the drive-by puts Durka into an early grave. 3 versus 4 for Fnatic. They find 2 very quickly on these sprays through the smokes. Round in the corner is Trex, who brings one back, but he's left in a 1 versus 2 against Alpha and Leo. Not much more to say than that one. His goose is cut. Fnatic are up 8-2.
Getting slightly dodgy.
I've seen that so many times now.
And believe me, Koi have seen it too, on that receiving end. Brutal stuff, but I mean, at the end of the day, Fnatic, smooth play, working their way back over towards A, and they're able to take it without even using Durka's ultimate, so they're going to be very happy, all things considered. Now, one thing we only saw the one time from Koi was that flank from Coldamenta. And so I'd wonder, like, do they try to work that in if they try to take over mound control? And with their positioning, I think that could be an option for them. Remember previously when they played 2 up mid, they looked to open up switch and then fight out with Coldamenta and Trex from back mound. And now they're going to see players, so give it a few more seconds and they could look to flash out here with Shadows and open that door.
Oh, that's a close! Oh, Coldamenta! A little bit too close to the damage there. Finds himself taken out. Straight away, Durka's there ready for the swing off Wolfen as well. That seaside completely cleared. Elsewhere, there's a bit of a scrap going down as once again, Koi have been decimated. They had 3 ultimates online at the start of this round, and at this point, only 1 still left in back pocket. Makes this a very precarious situation. It's all or nothing in the next round, and we are going to have a lot of ults online.
It is a disaster. Koi wanted to do the play, but Fnatic just beat him to the punch. Durka mows down Coldamenta while he's trying to throw out the paranoia. I think Koi just looking for scraps at this point, but that's got to take all the wind out of your sails when you have the right idea. And if you pulled the trigger 5 seconds earlier, you might be farming Fnatic off the Rolling Thunder, but nope. Instead, it just all falls apart. You lose that big ultimate for absolutely nothing, and it makes the next round look even worse for you.
I'm going to consider that Killjoy what's available. I'm pretty sure Chronicle's going to have his 2 after the round, so you've got a lot to contend with yourself. Admittedly, they're going to have the Killjoy up themselves, the ability to match it back onto the other side, but even then, Fnatic up 9-2, it does feel like this is already a bit too tall a mountain to climb.
In the half.
I think Koi are going to Fnatic are going to realize that even though that play worked out for them, it's still a little bit concerning because a lot of things went their way, right? That ultimate first where poor guy has utility out in his hand, but also like this kill. Like his entire team is destroyed by utility, but Durka still finds the one. If Wolfen wins that fight, it's a very different story. Wolfen can, hit the nitrous and then go flying around the corner, look to take another fight off the concussed targets with the teammate, but instead it just traps the players behind the door. Wolfen falls. Everything goes to pieces, so.
Well, it's now or never on a bunch of these ultimates. Let's see if any get brought out. I imagine we'll see the Seekers at some point out of Trex especially, but really to me it's those 2 Killjoy ultimates we're keeping a very, very close eye on. More likely when we see Fnatic get up towards an execute once again, looking to contest in towards Mound. This has been the main battleground, the battle mound you might call it, between these 2 teams so far, but it has been Fnatic who are normally the first to pull away.
Shadows likes holding on to that stun line for a little while just to take it off the predictable timings, right? Instead of being at 140 right at round start and then 1 minute off the cooldown, hits it at 120 there. So now there's a bit of a window, 20 seconds before he's going to have that up. Fnatic aren't going to be able to act onto this site quickly enough to be able to beat that timing, especially if they wait for the Killjoy ult, which is surely going to come down shortly. Because at this point, they're almost locked down. They can look for this kill and then maybe move into B off of the ultimate if there's some fight there, but I think it'll do a good enough job to force them all the way back off the site and they can take C.
They're going to commit and hold here as well. Just a 1 on site for now, swings to the fight, but Fnatic are more than ready. They find their man, everyone else is backed away, and now they're in a spot. Maybe you see the response coming out from the other side, just nothing at the minute. Sure, a flash comes on through, but Durka's ready and waiting. Trex swings out on the swing.
20 seconds.
Finds another. They're starting to bounce things back, but Stars has got it all to do against 3.
15.
Just very little more to say here as well. Going to try and do what they can. A little bit of chip coming on through. No, a bit of chip came through, but that was all it was. Starks, though. Nothing more to be found as Leo finds that spray through. Fnatic up 10-2 in the half, dominant as ever.
Brutal. That was weird. I saw the plant timer stop going away. I thought it had been broken. I think there were still paint shells, but maybe a little bit slower to act on those. So Starzo ends up having that one slip away. 1 versus 3, a really tough spot to be in, but all things considered, bit of a masterclass I think Fnatic put on there. Sometimes got a little bit hairy in the late rounds with players stepping into, you know, solo spots, but in terms of how they played the map, played through the doors throughout. Koi had one play that seemed to work decently for them, that refight for mount control with the 2 players working up through mid, but even the one round where it almost looked like it was going to work, Fnatic beat them to the timing, and that is just summing up the rounds perfectly, I think, throughout that half.
Pain as well is that obviously Koi took their time out when they were down 4-2 and did not manage to win a single round after that point. Maybe not the kind of break you're looking for or the outcome of a break admittedly. You hope for a little bit more. But it has just been that kind of half for Koi, unfortunately. Not quite living up to the hope of those played A1 dreams that they hold on to.
But is living up to the expectations of the #1 team
Oh,
in the
yeah.
standings currently.
I mean, again, coming into today, I was looking at the table, it's just like, okay, we've got first place coming up against last place.
Yeah.
What do you expect
Which is
the outcome to
shocking,
be?
because like Koi,
They were
off of
pegged
day
to be a
one.
mid-table team. as
Yeah,
well.
they were, and even so, I feel like the bottom of our standings has been mixed up a little bit in ways that we didn't, you know, entirely expect. I think people saw like BBL down there at the start, Carmine Core. We're fairly convinced that was going to be where it was, but it's coming back.
Well, while we're in the hard time, apparently we've got something fun to show you guys. Koi have been copying Fnatic's warm-ups. Let's go and take a look.
Good. Wow, we're not on the same page.
That's the warm-up, apparently.
All right, cool. Yeah, I thought they were going to be like saying things, and
Yeah.
they were not.
I thought we were cutting out to like a
Relaxed, because I don't know. You gotta stay positive after half like that. I'm a bit of a loss for words. I started picking up a bit of the Fnatic stretch routine. It's been nice.
What is the stretch routine?
They move their arms a lot.
Okay.
I haven't been picking it up that closely.
You've just been observing from afar.
Yeah. It's a bit, yeah. I'm watching some fist bumps, down there, keeping the morale up. So great. It's so great that I can even inform you that we have a tech pause coming out of halftime. So it might be a second before we get back into things. Plenty of time to stretch, stand up, stretch your legs, get the blood flowing.
It's a good idea, actually. Feeling an old man now, Ender.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
Feeling it in the knees,
Oof.
wrists. It's not good.
I mean,
That's what I was hoping
you don't
you
really
had
need
some-
those to cast, to be fair.
No, but
Just
do
need the
pretty much
voice.
anything else. That'll be
Oh.
gone before you know it, too.
Bit of a bedge moment for Dirk out there. Look, it's important you get your rest as a duelist player. I think we should interpret every little micro movement the players make and then spin it into some like obscure like narrative point. It's like,
Alright.
Durka at halftime reclines his chair, takes a little nap. I think every duelist at home needs to be doing the same, right? Get back into the headspace, take a rest. You can see it's 2 cups of coffee on the table. That's what you need.
What about mouse position? What about the exact rotation of the keyboard on the desk?
I'm seeing with Fnatic, it looks like a lot of sort of horizontal Andes. I see Alphayer has like a 45-degree angle
Yeah, I
on
was
the
going to
keyboard,
say 45.
but the mouse is normal. I'm also seeing 5 cups on one
Chronicle's
desk.
like a 25 degree.
That's crazy. 5 cups on one desk? No wonder Koi are losing.
It's the caffeine. It's the secret sauce, guys. Get the caffeine.
It really is. It really is.
Apparently, it's a monitor issue we are looking into, just to give you guys a little bit more context. So when it is done, obviously, we will get things back underway. Won't make you wait any longer than necessary. But as updates come through, we'll keep you guys in the loop. What else can we analyze? We've done coffee cups. We've done rotation of keyboards.
Ooh, that's good.
What about mouse mats?
Mouse mats? Okay, I like it. Fnatic, pretty
Chronicle's got
stock
the nice. I
standard.
like the red and the yellow together, though. I quite like that as a color scheme.
I'm digging. I think Koi actually win out in the mouse mat category.
I think they do.
Some more color, more designs. Look,
Yeah.
Fnatic, they're coming in. It's just like black on black, It's classy, it's timeless, but it's a little bit, everyone does that. I've got a black mouse mat at home, so I'm just like Fnatic, for real, for real. Just got a wave from Alpha. Yay. W. It's the little things in life, really. We can
He's playing rock, paper,
analyze.
scissors. He's playing rock, paper,
Yeah.
scissors.
Oh, are they?
He wants to play it. There we
Oh
go. Okay,
my
so-
God.
Oh.
It's tight. Well, we can only see
well,
one
he's
of
lost
the...
it already.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, we can see both.
I'm gonna be honest. There was a 35-minute pause on LEC once where we broke down an entire not tic-tac-toe. You just said it. What's
rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors. I'm a disaster up
okay,
here.
Christy?
Yeah, 35 minutes. We broke down a best-of-5 rock, paper, scissors match on the analyst desk. It was great. It's a good time. What we can do, though, is I see a lot of you chatting away. I'd love to, you know, see.
Have you just dropped a smiley in chat?
I just dropped a no because someone asked to start the game, and I'd rather talk. So sorry, guys. But I would love to know what your favorite emote is.
Favorite emote?
What's your favorite emote? Are you a frogman type of guy? I heckin' love arcane bat chest. Are you veg or resident sleeper or some other Durka variant?
I'm a pretty standard guy. Just lol for me.
Just lol.
Just lol. That's all I need.
Not even an omega lol.
No, not even a. I've seen that.
You're just a basic.
I've seen that too
lol.
often. I'm just a basic lol guy.
Oh.
Sometimes you gotta hit him with the basics, right?
God, this guy likes lol, guys.
Or any variation.
Yeah, get him. He likes lol.
Any variation of monk is fine. Yeah, I'm an old boy now.
Yeah, monk is pretty solid.
I don't know.
I must say.
You seem to live in Twitch chat.
I do.
You finish casting and that's where you spend all your time.
I roll in, I drop a classy, timeless smile.
A couple of lull enjoyers in the chat.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Do you remember back in the simple days, back when esports was done in, you know, basements?
Yeah.
When the best emote on Twitch was Franker Z, or everyone was seeking out the golden kappa? I still don't know if that was a real thing.
Not a clue.
But wow, look guys, maps. Did you know that there are currently 7 maps in the Valorant rotation? These are them right there.
I was so hoping to see Bind today. I was really excited.
Yeah, I do want to see more teams, you know, sort of interpret the map. It's always
Look
like,
what you've done to chat. It's just
what
a
have I done?
spam of emotes.
Oh, they might have turned on emote-only mode. That sometimes happens.
In which case you were solely responsible for this.
Ooh, yeah, that would be my fault, definitely. Yeah, no, I'm a fan of Bind. I want to see more teams play Yoru on it. I will be honest. I'm a Yoru enthusiast, but I want to see.
Why do you want to see more Yoru on that map in particular?
Because like the disinformation, funky stuff you can do with teleporters is just lovely. In terms of like you can send a clone through, make it real. You can go in yourself, TP out. It basically like makes it so that you can like threaten early fights out of teleporters earlier. Like I saw last week, like someone just like running into a teleporter, but like keep running into the corner of the wall, pretending to be a clone. And then popping out with a flash. It's a good time. Raze is a little bit too strong, so you probably have to run a double duelist Raze Yoru. Now we're really cooking. Oh. But hey, that's okay.
I'm just enjoying the meltdown you sent chat into.
They're all looking for the golden kappa. It's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Guys, if you find the golden kappa, you will get to come to VCT. If you book your own flight and hotel and buy your own ticket. And then, if all of those things happen, I will look out at you in the audience and give you a wave. There you go. Yeah. They didn't get the golden kappa, but they got the wave.
They got a wave anyway.
Yeah.
They got a preview.
A little preview of it. Oh, yeah.
If you have the golden kappa, you get a 2.7 second like hand wave.
That's solid. I think that's worth. Maybe I could just start charging people for that. Like, no golden kappa, but, you know, 20 bucks, I'll wave to you. Sure, why not?
How long are we talking per 20 bucks?
I mean, I guess we have to negotiate, huh? Yeah.
That's done up front before they head out.
They're still waving over there. They just never stopped waving back. Now I feel like
they're getting their money's worth.
Yeah, I totally left them hanging. It's brutal. Yeah, it's brutal. I must say, the Fnatic side of the crowd absolutely packed today. Got a lot of flags draped over. I think do I see some signatures on there too? Good stuff. A few. Good stuff.
Oh, I love Big Stevie down the floor. Look at him.
Now the Koi fans get to battle back. Yes! Fight! This is what I live for.
You know who the grand orchestrator of this duel is down there on the floor?
Who?
We see him.
Oh my.
The hype man, Mr. Stevie himself.
I love a good bit of hype injected into my main veins. Now, we are almost at the point. I don't know how long exactly this pause has been going on. I feel like it's been like about 5 minutes now.
Yeah.
Which is a third of the length of Mad versus T1 earlier today.
Lol.
So
Yeah,
I was kidding.
that
I'm
map
really
three.
preying on some fandom overlap right now.
Yeah, Yinsu was the maker getting her hair done, and she was like, it literally took the longest to do my hair than it took for T1 to like pound Mad, and I was like, yeah,
That's brutal.
it was not a good time for any EU League enjoyers.
Pickles! All right, we're going to toss it down to Yinsu on the analyst desk.
Speak of the devil.
Let's go.
Thank you very much. You guys, I'm so happy, Ender, that you brought up Mad versus T1. I would love to talk about it. You too, you love League of Legends. So
How long
I'm a
was the
Joya
match?
fan. I go to
there
the
we
LEC
go.
only
Yeah.
when you're working.
How long was the match?
17. No, it didn't get to 17.
Yeah.
It was like 16, 40 something or something like that.
So could they FF in that time?
They could,
Yes.
yeah. Well, I mean, unlike League of Legends, in Europe, we're actually good at Valorant. So let's talk about our teams being good at a game. Now, Fnatic versus Koi here, I think we were kind of hyping it up a lot going into it, what we expected from both teams. Fnatic, they did try some new things, but let's revisit some of the times that their players bail them out time and time again. Kakuka, I mean, Durka and Alpha. Even if they in a little bit, it doesn't matter because they just do this.
No news, really, because especially this round where you see both Killjoy's ults just being a push, and Koi decides that they're going to go into breaking it. They don't get it, because even though there's 2 players onto Alpha, he even gets the 3rd one, and that means the 2 players of Koi are going to be detained by that Killjoy ult.
Yeah, Alpha is just the guardian of the lockdown, you know?
Yeah.
That's about it. I mean, Durka here, you can see that he hits a nasty 2K, but we have seen Durka in the beginning of the game a little bit, you know, still the 21 Durka when he was overheating a lot, pushing for the Viper.
It was a
wall.
PRX
Yeah,
instead of a DRX.
Maybe they were yelling PRX to overheat. Who knows? Maybe
I mean,
that was the
I think
case.
we should explain that because I feel like we all know what that means, but for the viewers at home that don't know, so as we saw from the VoiceCon video that the Fnatic, Valorant social media team put out, during their games we hear Chronicle, I think it was, and Boaster as well,
Yes.
like they like to shout the word DRX, which we learn later on is a reminder for the rest of the players to not to overheat. And Lothar, you want to explain why DRX in particular?
Well, DRX is a very good example when it comes to structure and not overheating. Another example would be Leviathan, by the way. But in general, like I feel like every team needs a call out to remind themselves of
That they're not
having
playing
the
ranked.
discipline. Right. I mean, in ranked, you should also do that, by the way.
Do you
Do
reckon?
you call DRX in your ranked games?
Well, when I call DRX actually in ranked is when
Everyone
we
just
play
tells them
Ascent.
to shut
They're
up.
like, what are you talking about?
It's like a post-plant positioning, and people actually catch up. I'm not kidding.
Do you think DRX themselves say DRX?
I don't think so. Maybe they say ourselves.
us. Remember, I don't even think they need to do that. But this is the thing, though. I feel like the major difference between, we were even talking about this when we were watching the game, between maybe the previous iteration of Fnatic and this one is back then. It was kind of Durka doing most of the bailing out, but
Yes.
now they have like Chronicle and Leo can do it as well when the rest of them are inting. But this is actually Durka's overall tournament stats right now, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, and as you see there at the bottom, first bloods and first deaths. I think that especially as Lothar was saying at the beginning of the game, especially those first rounds, he was maybe taking too many risks, going too aggressive. We know that Fnatic might be stretching the gum a little bit and trying to think outside of the box when it comes to Lotus, maybe try and find more ways of being aggressive or putting pressure onto them. And Durka was, you know, maybe overheating a little bit, going into side before the util was prepped and yada yada. But, you know, he came to his senses.
The funny thing is that your duelist can be over-aggressive. That just the point is to have good spacing between the players, that when the duelist is trying to make the space by making the hard risk, high reward play, so make sure that if he fails, he gets traded. And that was the one thing that was a little bit, let's say, well, not happening for Fnatic. And that was the main issue in the first rounds. But even though that was happening, they were playing at a disadvantage and they still were winning rounds. And the biggest blunder was just that miscall when they ulted B-side with Fade ult and then rotated towards C and ran out of time.
Yeah, we will talk about that later when the map is finished as well. But for Koi,
Yes.
10-2, we've seen an 11-3 comeback, all right? So even a team is 10-2 down, I'm like, hey, you never know. But Kakuka, realistically, what do they need to do going on their attack?
Oof, is very complicated because we know that if
Put in the assistant coach.
A Goken? Maybe. do you think they can sub in players mid-game?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But as you guys can see, the monitor issue is being sorted right now. But yeah, Kukuka,
Yes.
what do they need to do?
I think they need to go crazy. Probably Trex needs to swap that pillow and actually
Is that
get
pillar
it.
always there? Am I
I don't think so.
whipped one out?
Wait, he's like pantsing the hyper today on the show already. All right, let me take my pillow with me, you know,
Let
just
me
in
check
case.
Twitter. Is Hypok traveling? Lauren, yeah, okay, yeah, they're here.
I mean, is it as easy, Kukuka, as that they just need to wake up a little bit? Is it that easy?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I do understand the kind of the intention that they had going on the defense. They didn't want to allow Fnatic to even go into that post-ban situation because they know that fundamentally, and even with the pressure, just because they know how to put pressure after the plant. Oh, they're just looking at us.
How are you doing?
Is that the new pen? Is that cup going to be the pen?
Oh, that cup's about to get squished into powder.
He's so delicate. Did you see how he was touching it? It was like touching a light bulb.
I
Like, it's not
think he hears us right now.
Minnie's having a nap. Hey, yo, Minnie needs to wake up. It's not done yet. It's not that easy.
Maybe that was happening during the entire half, and that would explain a lot.
Thing is, Minnie is just so stressed all the time that I felt like maybe he deserves to have a nap. But Lothar, what do you think? Because 10-2, that's a really tall hill, but Lotus, at least right now, in terms statistically, is still a little bit more attack-sided. So they're technically going on supposedly their better half.
Yeah. Hopium here happening, you know, it's always possible. I would say that in Valorant, pistol rounds are probably the easiest rounds to win in a David versus Goliath situation, because there's less access to utility that Fnatic can use to their full extent. Because let's not kid ourselves, like Fnatic has really like supreme mechanical skill on the players.
Oh, really? I hadn't noticed.
Yeah, but that's also posted there. And then we have the utility that is used in a pristine way, but on a pistol round, when that utility is not present because they just don't have enough cash to buy all of that, then you have the chance to win against those teams a little bit. Typically, you know, there's a higher chance of winning that round than in a full buy round. So winning pistol round is the first step. I mean, I'm stating the obvious. It's like, oh yeah, when a team win rounds, then they have a chance of winning the game, you know? It's like very, very good.
Did you say the same about maps?
Yeah, how was that? If a team wins an opposing team's map pick, that's great.
I mean, yeah, definitely. If you want to win, it looks like, you know, Boaster needs to warm up again. They're getting cold after all this waiting. So some stretches, we need to keep the blood flowing. But yeah, it looks like we're still going to wait for a little bit longer.
Yeah, it sounds like the tech issue is actually being resolved as we speak. So not too much longer, Lothar.
Okay.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
I wanted to say that, look, jokes aside, win condition for Koi here is a very, very, very distant one. But I do feel like they just need to gamble more. They need to be a little bit more confident in the way they play, because on defense that was absent. That was like a lot of cookie cutter positions being played on defense and not a lot of synergy represented by the team. And I hope that for attack, this is gonna be different.
Yeah, also we didn't mention, of course, Chronicle on Fnatic, Shadows now on Koi, both ex-teammates. It's kinda, you know, wholesome but also heartbreaking at the same time.
Gambit.
The good old days, the
Honestly,
good old days.
if my vision is like
Same
intense.
for Leon Cole, that they were
Yeah,
in Gil,
yeah, but I mean, I love Gil, but like Gambit. My vision is in like 7 years' time, we have the 10-year anniversary of this game, and we have a show match, and we reform old
Fish
Optic.
1 to 3.
Yeah, no, screw that. We reform old Optic and we reform old Gambit and get them to get on stage and play a show match. That is my ultimate vision. Riot, if you want to get in touch with me to work on that, feel free. But I will
You're gonna be preparing that for 7 years.
Yeah, honestly, I will give anything. You bring Defo back, N as well, get N in there too.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna have a nice little reunion, which is something that I really want. But again, that is very, very, very far down the line. We gotta say though here, I said in the pre-show in terms of permutations, Koi, they do still have a chance. In fact, even if they lose to Fnatic here, they still have a chance. They just have to beat Heretics to keep themselves in playoffs contention. But if they lose to Heretics, it is GG. And actually, if they lose to Fnatic and beat Heretics, their chances are higher than if they lose to Heretics and beat Fnatic. So
it's kind of
Then it's obvious, you
crazy.
have to lose
It's
against
crazy
Fnatic.
because the Koi situation is if they go into a tiebreaker scenario and as you say they win against Fnatic but they lose against Heretics, it doesn't matter
doesn't
that
matter,
you're
yeah,
the
yeah.
only team that has beaten both Navi and Fnatic. It's the fact that since you do not have a favorable head-to-head against the teams that are on that lower part of the leaderboard, there's not much that you can do. But you know, maps also matter. We'll get to see that further on.
Yeah, we will see indeed, but also as we head into the second half as well. Fnatic on their defense, what do you guys like to see? How different can their setups be? Because they've played Lotus a few times. We talk about how they could potentially be trying new things. Lothar, what new things is there even for them to try?
I don't think they will try anything new, to be honest. I feel
In
like
a
there's a lot
10-2,
of...
I agree.
On the defense, I would assume that the Viper is the main cause of like how you put the defense online, and that's not gonna change to not spoil anything for the future.
Well, I have some good news. We're getting back into game, Des and Ender. I hope you guys enjoyed that podcast. I can't wait to see what we're going to get for this half.
Thank you, Yinsu. We've been having a lot of fun uncrossing wires. During that time, we did a lot of walking around, and it was like a cat wall ball back here, but I think we're all good.
Some pacing, you know, some falling asleep. We saw Fnatic, almost the entire team was just knocked out for 5-6 minutes. So you have to consider, even coming into the half, 10-2, you know, maybe a little bit sleepy, gotta get the yawns out of the system.
So what you're kind of saying there is that was an elaborate ploy by Koi.
No.
Oh, it sounds it. Very elaborate.
That's a bit too much tinfoil hat for me. But you know, Lothar was dishing out the hopium on the desk and talked about the pistol round. We'll see what Koi have in store for us. Of course, in order to win, they're probably gonna have to kill Leo, which they only managed to do twice the entire first half. Coincidentally, Koi also only won 2 rounds. So shout out Leo.
I love that stat that they shared on the desk earlier as well. Leo has less entry deaths than he does shock dart kills globally.
Yeah, that's gnarly.
It's crazy.
But also, like, Fnatic just, they send the right people in to fight, you know? Well, Durka always leading the charge.
In case Fnatic weren't 100% sure, they're very sure now exactly what's going on. It's going to be Stark, so bouncing all the way through as everyone else taking a little bit of chip damage on their way through. Chronicle starts out with the 1, the turret taken down. Side control in the favor of Koi, but Fnatic are slowly starting to group their way back in. You may even see a flank from Durka coming into
he just ended up breaking the Killjoy turret, so he's going to fall back entirely after revealing there could be a potential flank. Means only 3 players on site to defend from this. Wolfen's lurk timing has to work out, and he hears the footsteps. He can swing off those.
Great combo.
Perfect. He gets the kill in mid while they get 1 on site.
Yep, the Haunt's coming on through. That's what helps him out in that first engagement. But now they're trying to box him into the back corner here. First tap coming through to try and force the fight. It's a quick kill coming out for Shados, but Leo gets the trade back before going down himself. Now it's a 1 versus 2 for Alpha. Probably the kind of person you want in this situation, but it's a lot to ask for. And Wolfen puts him in a grave. Koi make it 3 rounds.
I mean, not the easiest round for Koi to win there, but respect to Wolfen having the exact right timing on the swing there, on the lurk, because it would have been really easy for him to activate that lurk quicker, you know, sort of walk into a 1 versus 1, but when you're lurking on this map on attack up through mid, like, that's the one angle you have to look out for. So I think activating your lurk off of the sound of footsteps running on through, that's exactly when you want to pull the trigger, and it gives him that 1 versus 1, sort of shooting Durka as he's rotating on through. And then he pays off later in the round too to secure it.
I think what I like from Koi there is they played things super tight as well. Didn't really play it the way Fnatic had done, being quite slow, quite controlled and composed. They were looking to be relatively together as a team, and now Fnatic are trying to break that up. Don't give them time to group up and make a play. Push onto them aggressively, and they found the entry for it.
Yeah, this is like a full buy from Koi too, so any kills Fnatic are going to be very meaningful.
Do they know? They're going to assume he's not here. They did a bit of spray through the smoke and missed absolutely everything. But obviously he's got to be mindful that once the smoke goes down, he could be in danger. Looks to his left, but Wolford's there. It's good to try and close the gap, making use of the smoke in the second round, but the Bulldog still hits like a truck. I was going to say like a bulldog, and it does hit like a bulldog.
A bulldog, all of it. Oh, Durka.
You rat.
Oh, this is so mean. Okay, no, they're clearing it. Respect. And the rest should be pretty easy work from Koi. So they only end up losing the 1 rifle. I believe they had the 1 Vandal and then 3 Bulldogs. Maybe just the 1. Yeah, you can see Wolfen just upgraded that one in mid. And really what they're trying to do is they're trying to convert in round 3. So it won't be a bonus from them. You're down this much, like you have to just keep that snowball rolling. So had Fnatic been able to find anything more, it actually would panned out like big time for them, and they could have stopped, you know, a couple of these rifles going through. So still a chance for Chronicle if he finds good timing to take one out of the picture.
Also taking a look at all the blue crosses on your map, and you can see how many of those were in such aggressive forward positions as well. Fnatic wanted to close that gap and get up close and personal. But Koi, to give them full credit, dealt with that aggression incredibly well. Now at least have 4 rounds on the board. I won't lie, I was probably of the opinion we'll be seeing maybe a 13-3 or 13-2, a bit of a stomp by Fnatic coming into this map. But Koi, we saw a little bit of goodness coming at them early on with those 2 rounds, and then even around that, the ones they lost, they still played some of those pretty well, and you've seen it there in the last 2 as well.
They're going to have to look out for the early aggression from Fnatic, because you see they're going to put a lot of attention over towards Rebel. You can see a couple of stars placed as well, potentially looking for a suck or concuss if anyone pushes very aggressively, right? If you see the Omen TP or the satchel right off the bat, you can look to fight immediately, but instead they pull it back to hold on to. It means B-side is very weak at the moment, and Koi immediately going to pounce on that one.
Starks go back in. He's been a couple of times now hopping out over those mollies, over everything else coming his way, just to get himself in a particularly powerful position. He's the one who's gone deep on site here, of course, alongside the plan. Coldamenta in danger for a couple of seconds there. He was sat inside the molly, he's now out of dodge as well. So once again, fast-paced play is keeping Fnatic on the back foot here.
The tough thing is, Starzo's the only one with a forward position. He has to come up huge in this round, but he's been spotted out. The rest of the team is playing through main, which makes it so hard to survive in the post.
Backstab. Gonna get stuck in the back here as Alpha comes around on the flank, and that's that main position, as you say, on site shut out. The rest is stuck behind a smoke that's now dissipated, but it's still ugly. There is a Viper wall sat in the way.
Wolfen late on this flank could pay off here, but the clock is already going down. It's going to be halved.
Oh boy, this could be mega. Sees 2 line up, but can't find the third. It's a 1 versus 1. He taps, and Alpha gets the kill and spins onto the defuse. Fnatic win it out. What a play to close.
Oh, Fnatic winning out in that retake right there. It goes down to the wire again. A couple of these rounds have been very close at the bitter end. But the fact that the scouting came down, spotted the Rays pushing back towards spawn, Alfier finds that one. Even though Wolfen's reflank looked nuts, gets 2 kills, stops the diffuser as well. Just a little bit too delayed on that one. I think one of the things you almost always have to have when you're attacking that B site is control of 2 of the entryways into site. It's why you always see teams trying to either take baby door end main or flip the map and push spawn. These types of ideas. Otherwise, Max sort of flooded and only have to look one direction. Now Koi have lost their solo smoke on attack. So they're going to be praying they can find some early fights before it turns into a full-on site commit, but Fnatic are not going to give those to them. They're going to play off of their utility and force Koi to overexpose themselves coming to the site without those sight lines blocked off.
A little bit indecisive there for me, Koi. Spoke about it already a few times, hitting B there, hitting C previously. Just full send it. Don't give Fnatic time to get yourself settled, whereas here they play things a little bit slower. Obviously Fnatic not fully aware they were coming in, but straight away look at the difference. There are 3 players here. There are ults coming across site. They've got everything ready. They've got the read on Koi. Now they've got a choice. You've lost 2 players trying to push in. You've committed to trying to make this work. You've only got 2 players left. You're against 5. It feels like a big ask.
Have to find Alpha here, but you're still walking into Killjoy stuff. Standing. Yeah, I don't know.
Spike down.
I mean, allowing Fnatic go to 12 is just so brutal, so they're going to try to fight their way through it, but that one is going to sting at the end. Should be able to get light armor rifles still, I'd assume, on the majority of players. Not quite. I see a Guardian and a Spectre at the very least. But yeah, I mean, if Alfeir's just finding that kill, I don't really know what you're supposed to do.
Nothing, just call up on a ball, cry.
I mean, one of the things they were missing, the smokes, but also that's a paranoia line you often see the Omen send it out from, so not being able to block him off or force Alfier to go back definitely hurt, and I think Koi are just going to try to instantly explode over towards here, but you can see the Star setup. Surprising, Starzo works through it and finds the opener.
He's done that quite consistently in most of these rounds, which I really appreciate and, admire as well. Just willing to full send into dangerous territory without information. Going into these gunfights with confidence. Sure, he might not be absolutely lighting up the leaderboard, but at least it's making things happen for Koi, who again have gone aggressive in the early round, but then slowed down again after. And this is where we've seen Fnatic with the chance to set themselves up and get comfortable. They've got the Killjoy online. Of course, it's available for Koi too, but it's not going to be pretty.
Do you think there was 1 fewer stars that Boaster had previously put over towards Rubble, which maybe would have allowed them to fight more for it? But here we go from Koi, patiently clearing out that first angle on Baby Doors. They opened the big one.
call comes in there. 2 sticking on B for the side of Fnatic, expecting potentially a late rotate. What they don't know is everybody is on tree here as well. Leaving one behind in the form of Trex. I think if they hit the door again, they'll be in a bit of risk here, thinking, okay, they're definitely going in for tree. So they don't want to trigger it a second time. May well back out here as Boaster starts out on one. You got him on the long spray. They absolutely love the Odin on this map.
It's so goofy, man! Like every single round, the tree spams everything. Now Chronicle on the retake coming in very quick.
Drops down. Looking for the wraparound. It's going to be a real nasty bit of
Shadows
play
has
coming
ult.
in
Why is
here
he
as
playing
well.
so far forward?
Killjoy's coming all the way down. Yeah, Shadows is right up close here as well. Pops the ult out. Tries to step on forward, but not too much that he can do. Fnatic get everything they need here to take this first map in style.
Look, it was a long, gruesome affair. At halftime, I didn't know if Fnatic were going to be able to close it out. I didn't know if there was going to be a second half for a moment there. But at the end of it all, Fnatic came here to finish business that should have happened a couple of weeks ago. It got delayed and now up with a convincing 1-0 start.
That's the kind of question at the start. Would you rather play Fnatic closer to the lock-in win? Would you rather play them later?
What about never? Is that
How about never? It should also be a wonderful option.
None of the above. I'll take that.
I mean, putting it out there, expected result. We thought we were going to see this storm through from Fnatic. That's largely what we've seen. Again, not to take things away from Koi. Some good rounds in the mix, particularly on the attack again. Catching Fnatic on the back foot, getting the spike down, getting in good positions. That did really well for them. But sadly, that trick's only going to work once or twice until Fnatic catch you out.
All right, the Gaming Sphere. What a name.
Have you ever heard of it?
No.
The Red Bull Gaming Sphere.
Now I know.
Now you know.
Wild.
RBGS. Good place.
I wish I was cheering there. I could wave to someone over there. That's enough.
You can shout Pickles again if you really wanted to.
It's definitely.
Do you want to do Pickles again before we go to break?
No. Pickles was just the one time for you, guy in chat.
Well, we'll go to a break when we come back. Desk. See you soon.
Nice. Nice. Come on, Des. Come on. Nice. Good job, Leo.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Zero distraction. Zero doubt. Zero opposition.
Usually when I see a target, I won't miss. I try to find weaknesses wherever they are and just game by game try to pick up on anything I can. So this training course is a way for me to really showcase and demonstrate all the questions you guys have been asking, how to get better aim, and it really enables me to answer a lot more and kind of expand on the first video I made like so long ago about Valorant fundamentals.
welcome back to the show. Before we went to Lotus, we were speaking about the fact how Fnatic is playing on attack on this map, and we would like to revisit that now to see if Koi actually did something about it, and unfortunately did not. But the thing is, we have Fnatic that typically attack in the first 20 seconds of the round in those two directions. This is the heat map from those 20 seconds, as you can see on the bottom there. And here, this small cloud that you can see here, this is just one round of movement that we have witnessed so far on Lotus on Fnatic's attack side. So there's a big gap that we mentioned in the pre-show in that attacking side, where Alpha even sometimes doesn't have a turret in the spot for the first 30 seconds of the round. Now, when we swap to Koi's positioning, you can see that there's a lot of movement into the B area, and there was only one round when they pushed out, destroyed the Killjoy turret, and went back. There was not a single time when they took the space aggressively on the B area, and they even stacked the Killjoy Alamo bot and players along on top of that. I'm gonna actually show it to you guys how that looks, because we're gonna zoom in on the mini-map. I'm gonna activate the points from Wolfen's utility, so you're gonna see right now here on this mini-map that those small dots indicate the Alamo bot. The turrets are being put here, so there was abundance of utility being put on this side. That was actually kind of pointless, because the Fnatic team was actually going through Hobbit a lot of times, avoiding even that utility, so it never had any impact. So there was a little bit lack of adaptation to the playstyle that Fnatic represented in the two times that they played Lotus so far, and it seems like Koi just didn't do their homework.
Yeah, Lothar, it does seem that way, because Kukuka, that wasn't the only thing that kind of indicated to us maybe Koi was a little bit unprepared for this map against Fnatic. If we take a look at round one, the pistol right off the bat, I think what Lothar said, I think we were expecting them to maybe stack A a little bit, maybe push out a B to stop this push.
Is the A control.
But this is what Fnatic do.
Exactly, Fnatic won that A control, and in pistol round was not going to be a difference. We see them taking slowly, using the utility that is necessary to break, and we also see the rotation coming in for Koi. As I said when we were in that tech pause, they wanted to prevent them into even getting onto side. But what Fnatic does here is even smarter. They know that they've gathered all this position, that they have all these angles, waiting to get some picks. Then they start and freeze, and they're like, oh, there's one, there's two. Okay, it's time to fake this. They get the stun, and they are going to go on to use a little bit more of util and break that small door.
It's the fake that they do here is just works so flawlessly. They bait 3 players into checking that position to make sure that they can get the crossfires, and they are just being slaughtered. The wall is also just activating in the moment that next to it. It's beautifully done, and then like overheats.
Yeah, he does indeed, but this is the thing we spoke about, right? Maybe Koi wasn't expecting Fnatic to pick Lotus. We all thought they were going to pick Haven. Maybe even on the side of Balthar and the coaching team, perhaps they thought Lotus is not even going to be the map that comes up today, but I feel like the pistol round set a tone, and as we look into the next round as well, Kukuka, again, Koi didn't adapt.
Yeah, exactly. This is you might have seen this round twice, because seeing Fnatic taking this part of the map is no news. Lothar was saying it on his segment, and this is the second time that Durka uses his ultimate on the same way, on the same entrance. Koldaminta almost dies the first time, and definitely dies this one. It's something that has happened before. They're aware from the beginning of the round that Durka has the ult. They're aware of what had happened 3 rounds ago, and they still don't change anything.
He needed wings, you know, to escape that ultimate.
I see what you're doing.
I see what you're doing, and I like it.
Thank you for that, Lothar. But this is the issue, right? We're going to take a look at the scoreboard as well, just to see how dominant the game was. We needed to see Koi come in with a solid game plan. And Lothar, it felt like maybe there were a couple times they had good ideas, but the game plan just wasn't there.
Look, I was getting feedback that people are saying, oh, I love that you are not that negative on the desk anymore, and you're not complaining about teams.
Complain,
playing. Like, yeah,
I like it when you complain.
Unfortunately, today I have to complain a little bit, because Koi today played like they played last week. It was very visible on Bind that the game plan is just not like solidified, and it's not being projected on the map even. Like the way that they attacked was disjointed. There was always 1 by 1, even if the player on the raise sucks was going in, swooping in on side, no one was following. Then suddenly it's a huge disadvantage. 3v5, someone solo peeks. And then it's a 2v5. What did the other 2 players do? They solo peek. It's like everything was falling apart like dominoes, but in a slow motion. So it's really something that the Koi needs to fix instantly.
But Vitality last week against Fnatic, they showed Koi what can happen if you're well prepared against Fnatic. On that Haven, right off the bat, Kukuka, they were kind of catching them off guard. Fnatic had to really work hard to get back into the game. So perhaps we thought maybe Koi would be having a similar strategy.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I think it does come to, I don't know how prepared they were to actually face them on the Lotus. Maybe they thought that it was going to be a second ban for Fnatic, but you know, we know that going after a 10-2 half is not easy. Just put it like that. So on the attack, all those plays where they're disjointed, we can make excuses for them being like they're completely out. Them going into duels when it's a 4v2 and you're going into the last round, and knowing that you need to save those guns if you want to think about it, makes us think and interpret what they're doing as them thinking that it's already over, let's just think of Ascent.
Well, for Fnatic as well, today, again, they surprised us with the vetoes. If we take a look at this round, Lothar, I think they might be confirming what you thought, that they could just be trying out new things. Because either if this was like a crazy overheat, or maybe they're overcooking, perhaps, Lothar, what do you think?
Well, I feel like one thing that I dislike about this round, this is the one with the Fade ultimate, right? Yeah.
Yes,
This is the one where I feel like Fnatic was just
overcooking.
It's not overcooking. I feel like it's misreading the position on the minimap of where your opponents will be, and they use the Fade ultimate to essentially fake a push on the B side. But the ultimate is just such a power, the raw power that it represents is just so good to just take the side in itself. I feel like it's just a wasted opportunity to even use it in this way, and that's one of the biggest problems that I feel like were in that round happening. But overcooking with utility is one thing. I think it still falls down to misreading where the opponents exactly are on the minimap, and then you can see how the confident Leo just walks into the side. So that tells me that the call was like, yeah, they're all on the side, and then Leo just walks in with a knife out and his spike, and then everything just falls apart.
I mean, how forgiving can we be?
I mean, I think that this is also a prime example of what Koi was trying to do, and is like being hyper reactive to what Fnatic was doing, because they didn't want to get into that post-plant situation where they have to retake. So Fnatic, you know, taking one step and then counter-resting them, because before they go onto B, we all see that they've already taken some damage. It's come through utility, through some bullets, through smokes, but it's what Koi wanted to do. Also the paranoia coming in, so I understand that Fnatic felt a little bit cornered, but I feel that it's also the one and only time that they felt that way. They wanted to improvise on the go, is what they picked this map for, potentially. So I think we can be forgiven.
Yeah, I mean, they can afford to, right? They've qualified already. So I feel like this is the theme we're going to get for the rest of the Fnatic games, perhaps. But map 2, let's talk about Ascent real quick, because this was Koi's pick, and this was probably the only pick today, Kukuka, that we thought made sense.
Yeah, exactly, because Koi has played this map every single week, but the week that they didn't get to play because they were going to play against Fnatic. So at least we're going to see that map. I think it's the one where they want to think they're most comfortable with. They also made the mistake last week to leave it open against BBL, and that did not work out well. So let's see how it goes against Fnatic. They decided that this was better than... They decided that maybe even Haven could happen, so they must be really comfortable here.
But it is Ascent. You play exactly the same composition as Fnatic, and it's like, oh my god, if you play a mirror comp against the team that is considered best in the region, you need to be like really well prepped to make sure that you're playing better than the opposing team.
Again.
Yeah, prep, the keyword.
Another word. Let's take a look at those comps over there, actually. We can throw them up right now to just remind you guys what the compositions were the last time both of these teams played Ascent. And Lothar, like you said, it is a mirror comp. We've heard Boaster in the past explicitly say, I love playing against teams that have the same comp as us, because they never know why they copied us, because we know why we do this.
But that's exactly what I said it today as well, right? And in the previous weeks as well. Whenever Fnatic is using something and other teams are copying it, it's like missing a crucial detail or a feedback loop when it comes to like why that utility is being used in the first place. And there are a few fundamental, like, let's say, characters in this composition that are so important, so instrumental to make this composition work. In my eyes, that is KO.
KO, yes.
KO is just so crucial in taking the mid control, in disabling the Sentinel player, in finding a target that they can cascade on.
I think that's also important for Fnatic to understand also where the weaknesses can be. Maybe they learn something new that they can do with the composition. It's a composition that we've seen a lot, but I think there's still some development. And knowing exactly that you, for example, have that KO as well. I know that the positions from Killjoy are not will try and be compromised. I know that this is the kind of team that will work around it. So Koi has very few chances.
I also expect, because we had this conversation already today, that Leo will have some shock darts lineups to control the Alamo bot in mid. I feel like that's also crucial to Fnatic's game plan, because they do control mid a lot and they have a way slower pace. And that's actually kind of crucial to mention. Fnatic attack speed when it comes to planting is like 3 times slower than Koi. Koi are going in a lot of times, just pushing in first tempo, commitment. Though they get the kills or not, doesn't matter, they push in. But that requires something that they were lacking on Lotus today, and that is that good spacing between the players.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned this in Matt Vito's Kakuka, that Fnatic chose to start on attack. I don't think any team ever chooses to start on attack on Ascent, so I think while we're theorizing that maybe they're just trying something, this definitely, I think, we can more or less just confirm that surely they just want practice. They're just looking for reps here on Ascent.
Yeah, exactly, and probably to find the weaknesses in their composition, when they're going up against it. No, how do you counter exactly what you do, and where do you find the holes?
Yeah, before we jump into Ascent, Lothar, please make your way to the telestrator and kind of break us down on some of the things we could expect from these two teams.
Yeah, that's actually something I have prepped when it comes to the attack for those teams. So we're gonna have here, this is Fnatic, this is the attack side of Fnatic on Ascent. As you can see, this is the entire round. So this is how they move. This is the heat map on the entire round from every single time they played Ascent. As you can see here, there's a lot of focus on this mid control. And we're gonna compare it to Koi. It's actually so different. There's a very big gap here in movement on the mid. This is why I consider Koi a little bit less flexible on this map than Fnatic, and that is one of the key pieces of making this map work, actually. Like, the way that this map is constructed, you have two small choke points that are right here on this map, and if you want to breach those, you need to be very, very, let's say, coordinated to make sure that you don't have many casualties while going to the side through those areas. And if that is not happening, well, then the mid control is so important to have that cleared, and that's something that Koi typically, unfortunately, lacks. Now, when it comes, we're gonna go back to Fnatic now on this mini-map, and what is very important to understand as well is that when Fnatic is doing those mid pushes, they pair that up with a default setting that they are controlling on the extremities of the map. So whenever they do the mid push to control this space over here, they have players that are playing a very greedy playstyle on A main and B main to make sure that the defenders are using some kind of utility to stop them from doing any advancement on the map. That allows them then to do that slow play on Ascent, to plant the spike late because the utility is not present anymore. And Koi will typically have everything in their kitchen sink thrown at them when they go through A and B main, through those choke points when they don't have the mid control.
Well, let's see if Koi also know the Fnatic's tendencies, but I will also say I want to inject some copium into Koi, because this is the only map that Fnatic have dropped so far in this entire season, Kakuka. So surely if it's anywhere that they have weaknesses, it's Ascent.
Yeah, okay, we can go down that route. It was also BBL, the same BBL that did beat Koi last week. Lothar, you were talking about that mid control. It's funny because Koi presents and wants to put even more control into mid only from the defense. Like, they are aware that it's a part of the map, that it's crucial, but they do not interpret it the same way when it's from the attack. You know, it's like, okay, we're gonna open it, maybe just the smokes, maybe we'll work around it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty important to have that mid control. You can say the same about Team Liquid, by the way. The way that Save always goes to bottom mid to control the defense, but then on the attack it's so different. It's so funny that you mentioned that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up BBL as well. This is a map the Fnatic don't tend to play, but as the highlights run, we're going to see some other of what we saw from Koi, and I mean,
they're getting destroyed here. So.
It was worrying, right? It was pretty worrying when we saw this. Again, the match against BBL was a bit of a must-win for them. They are in a tough situation, but let's talk about their mental. Let's talk about their mental here. We're not talking about a team. Yes, they have Wolfen, who's a bit of a rookie, but we're talking about a team that have assembled players that have won international trophies, that have been in situations that's way higher pressure than they're currently in. So Kakuka, surely we got to look to, you know, your Shados and your Starkster and your Coda to pull them out of this situation.
Yeah, exactly. But in so many occasions we've seen these teams finally we're onto this highlights of Ascent. I don't think they're going to be very long yet, because I was thinking this map did not last a lot. It was a 13-4 as we're seeing right here, and it is concerning because I think it moves away from just them having good players to actually them not merging together that well. To me, with Koi, it's always the feeling of the work isn't finished. I can see your intentions. I don't think it's polished. I don't think you've looked ahead of it. You've looked at the adaptation that the other team is going to have onto you. It's not only the plan that you have, it's also the plan to counter-rest your plan.
Yeah, and so that's something I anticipated that will be happening in this team, because when the team was formed, I was like, on paper, this looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
Calder, like, just on paper, like how he, let's say...
he makes every team better.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted to say. Like, he's the leader that is the glue that makes the team work. And it's something that is not present in Koi. And I feel like a lot of people are just disappointed because of that, to see that. Or maybe just not even disappointed, just surprised. It's so weird that this is not happening in Koi. I hope that they still have a chance of making that work.
Yeah, and I also feel like, of course, a lot of these pieces from Koi did come from the old guild. I know for the first few weeks through the gameplay, at least, it reminded us a little bit, you know, of how guild used to play. They have Baba as well as the coach still. But again, these are not people that aren't experienced. Lothar, we have, I mean, Shados is been in crazy high pressure situations back when he was on Gambit, at international tournaments in LAN environment.
Where are they going?
Similarly to Calder as well. He's been to LAN. Guys, let me give him a chance. Let me let Ibai smile, all right? Let me make him smile a little bit. We need to give them some kind of a resemblance of a chance in terms of how they can get back into this. But again, it's not super disastrous if they lose this. But
they are not expected to win.
I know,
this
but like,
match.
if
that's the thing, and it's
if you're a Koi fan, it's at what point are you just sad and disappointed?
I think that point was happening already.
Yeah,
so
that happened.
We're past that point. That ship is already, you know, in the ocean.
Honestly, just tell me one team that was really expected to win against Fnatic.
I mean, Ascent is the map that Fnatic did drop, so if it was anywhere, it's going to be there. But we're going to quickly go to a comms video for you guys to check out and see if we can sort out the PC issue on the back of this.
Hello, fellas. Don't change your microphone. ¿Qué pasa, boys? Don't change your microphone. You need to ring like this, bro. Look.
Twix, I think Sage is looking at you. I don't know.
Sage? Yeah, maybe. Oui, Sage. Maniac.
Personne veut parler là.
Lance-le, frère.
Attendez, mon écouteur il veut pas se mettre.
Lance.
Tout le monde est long pour mettre les écouteurs.
Give me a fist pump as well.
No.
On the camera.
Got it?
7, 9.
Yeah, I will take. Yeah.
Let's go. Good. Let's make our first and last Icebox.
Yeah, guys, it's the last time we play Icebox.
First and last.
Let's make it happen, yeah?
I like that, Digger.
Yeah. After that, we're gonna be sad that we couldn't play that map more.
We left the map with 100% win rate.
I think both boys.
Actually, I love to play against like the crowd like this because when I win rounds, they shut up.
Satisfied.
I love that. Think.
Top side. Top side.
Push in. Right side, yeah.
Top king. In the smoke, Gem. In the smoke. Time. Through the tail. Two. Under. Rafters.
No one.
Nice. Last. Nice one. Can be behind the wall, guys. Probably is.
Just play time. Look. 20.
Pick on me, please. Pick on me.
Yeah, I'll pick on.
That's fine. Nice
Fine.
touch.
Keep it up.
Good job, Vitinho.
Market a lot, market a lot.
That market.
Arrowed out. Nice.
Market.
Well, I'm using my the smoke over B main. Yo.
I'm knifing B main. I'm knifing B main again. That B main.
Nice.
I'm checking middle. I'm holding middle.
Both. Sound. I need sound boys now.
Both
I'm
B-main, both
yeah.
Right. I'm flashing lane.
But I mean, logs no. Huh?
Ah!
Let's
Down. So you showed your balls or what?
Yeah.
Big balls.
I'll take my shoes off, guys. Even though
Actually, I'll do it also. Let's go for a look, you know?
no, throw your shoes.
What the fuck is cold? They cannot breathe. Bro, I have a food powder on my shoes. It's white.
Oh, bro,
They're
you will die.
I smell it up here.
Hey, admin, you know when we start?
Hey, admin, tu peux muter Alex pour tout le monde?
Comment ça? Admin? Admin, gars? Quoi couper?
Wesh Alex pump?
No.
Alex pump?
Ten spin inside, Kaio. Nice. Ten spin what? Yes! Nice, cousin! Chicken! Nice chicken!
Je suis bon. Bagdad.
Check-toi.
Juste
Va sortir garage.
Juste à gauche. Bagdad sur moi.
J'ai lui camper PVP.
Je flash.
Bon PP.
Je flash.
Je tue C1. Pas touché C1. On a ulti qui joue.
No!
I mean, you have a voice of when you take a flight, yeah?
Flight attendant?
Yeah. Or a pilot. Like a pilot.
But they were going to Brazil, bro. We're going to Tokyo, bro.
Çekiliyorlar köşelerine, eğimine çıkmanızı bekliyorlar, öyle vurmayı bekliyorlar. Tamam. Alabildiğiniz kadar alanı alın. Akıllıca fightları aramaktan hiçbir zaman çekinmeyin geçen maçtaki gibi. Çok iyi bir şekilde kazanacağız. Under, grafiti short.
Under short.
Sider çıktı. Under. Beraber under. Bu kadar oğlum.
Geçen maç kendimizi gösteremedik. 2.
Gösteremedik mi?
Ha. Benim mouse DPI falan mı yükseldi acaba? Hakim olamadım bir. PS oranım %12.5 falan da herhalde geçen maç.
Alright boys, let's do our warm up. Ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Do some reaches up. 1, 2, 3. I have my ult in a second.
I'm gonna ulti. One ledge.
Okay, freeze. We can do force plant here.
Yes, but I'm very low. I'm behind the wall. I'll try to kill him. Dead.
Nice.
2v2.
I'm gonna orb up if you want to get out.
No. All good.
Nice.
Easy. Nice.
Хорош, здорово!
Let's get out. Go to What? What the doing this? How can I understand? You're doing this.
Yeah, this.
Yeah. That's what I want to see.
You're gonna plant,
Can we go out?
Bomb
I flash default. And go, yeah?
Go, smoke main.
Go.
Ulted, put him under heaven. Stand Viper. Nice side.
Nice!
No.
Let's fuck it up. I read him like a book, man. Same round.
They're starting to crumble, I think. They're holding me, yeah.
Ult.
Yeah.
Nice, above you.
One more. A flash.
Two. You can take it. Nice!
Welcome back, you guys. I love watching team comms. I'm an avid team comm enjoyer, like from any region. I feel like you learn so much about them when you see what they actually say during the games.
Yeah, exactly. Some of them are more quiet. Obviously, the rounds that they pick are the most hyped up, the most that we can pick up something from. I love the last one. You know, it was Angel just sitting like this, man. Like he's got this. He's so got this. We're done.
You know what I love? When someone says in ranked, you speak too much, you know? And then they maybe don't watch a VCT game and they don't see how pro teams communicate. It's a constant barrage of words, and you have to also filter out the very important information. So actually communicating it in any tactical FPS is art. It's like you need to know how to communicate, to not say too much, and also transfer only the very crucial information at the same time. And that's something that you can see in the best teams.
Yeah, especially I feel like the teams that English isn't their first language as well. I feel like it's so interesting when we see which other players that kind of step up in those situations. And speaking of that, let's get back to Koi real quick, because for them, again, it's a really important game today. But in the grand scheme of things, you know, outside of just them, teams like Heretics and K-Core, they're praying for their downfall. They are hoping that Koi get 2-0 this week.
Exactly. Every single team that is on that bottom half of the leaderboard, they want all the other teams that are in the same situation to just keep losing. Do not get those numbers up, because the lower that you are, the higher that we're going to get. And of course, they still have 2 other matches besides Fnatic.
They do, yeah. That Heretics game is huge for both them and Heretics, and also into week 8, if the tiebreaker is still available to us, Lothar, you know, every other team are going to hope that Team Liquid are going to be Koi, but it won't matter for them, because if Koi loses against Fnatic and Heretics, we're going to have to say bye to them, Lothar. We're not going to see them at playoffs.
Well, you know, I just hope that they're going to put a good fight against Team Heretics, but Team Heretics actually looks like a real team lately, so it's going to be a very interesting match this week.
I feel like the expectations is very all over the shop, because I remember in week 1, Bea, you stood over there and you said 3 Spanish teams will be going to Tokyo. Although I didn't believe you.
Why are you laughing? You said K-Core and Liquid, I'll still get one of them is going to get at least 1 win, because they're going to play against each other.
I mean, I am right.
Technically right.
Yeah, but
I think I didn't really believe you at the time, mainly because I didn't.
And you don't believe me now?
No, mainly because I felt like Heretics probably didn't have what it took to make it to Tokyo, but I definitely thought Koi did.
Yeah, I mean, they started against Na'Vi with a 2-0 victory. Like, that was crazy to me. And it was a 2018 Lotus, if I remember correctly.
Yes, 2018, yeah.
We started with a bang, like a big bang that created this Valorant scene.
Let's take a trip down memory lane, Lothar. Let's take a look at what Koi looked like when they were winning, because I do actually have the footage here, so we can have a look at it. It felt like a very, very long time ago. I think so long ago, I think we've celebrated so many people's birthdays since as well. But where is this Koi? Where did it go?
I love that we're seeing this, and it's just seen at highlights being like, wow. It's just Na'Vi hitting the shots. It's still not getting the map, definitely. But I think that also we found that they were against the Na'Vi that was in their prime of testing. It's not only that they're trying different comps, they were trying new agents for them. It was the first day. They wanted to try out Gecko. They did it on both of the maps, and also seen it going for the first time on that Omen. We saw how disjointed it felt, the missed timings on the smokes, and just the whole utility.
I completely forgot.
Oh my god, I this one!
I literally blocked it out of my mind that we had seen it on Omen.
I didn't.
I didn't either.
Yeah, it wasn't the best.
What I will say though is this is what I'm trying to say. Koi, they can beat teams. They have what it takes. They have the right pieces. They have, like I said, real winners on their team as well. But it just felt like it's been a really difficult process for them, Lothar. Definitely more difficult than we anticipated.
I would love to make like a very in-depth interview with Kolda, like an honest interview when he can just tell us, like, yeah, the communications, like what is the crucial issue that they are fighting with in the team right now, because that's something that we can never guess accurately ourselves on the desk. We can just superficially watch the game, see what is the movement on the map, make an assumption, but we'll never get to the actual problem. And I would love to hear from Calder, like, what are they fighting inside of the team?
It feels like it might not be the issues that we expect, because all of the other teams that were struggling brought in the assistant coach meta. You know, they did something about it. Whereas for Koi, Kakuga, despite being at the bottom of the table, they are still sticking together.
I think it has to do with getting that first win, because as you said, there are some teams that have struggled in the past and they've managed to get some solutions or tried to do something. K-Corp, they stopped in Zage, they got a mental coach, started working on the situation. Koi maybe got too comfortable after getting that win against Navi, being like, okay, against NRG, it was close at lock-in, we come here, we beat Navi, okay, we're unstoppable, this is going to be easy. Second one, okay, they don't get that win. And after those losses start piling up, we see that also their homework and their pending assignments are not being done with, because they're so focused into getting ready for next week that they do not address everything that went wrong on this one. And I think that's where their pivotal point of actually not fixing the mistakes that, like, they're aware of the mistakes that they've made, but they haven't put the time into fixing them.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know if I want to see any more assistant coaches. I know we kind of joke about it. I do want to see SLK. I feel like SLK would be a good one.
I can only imagine after the assistant coaches subbed in the games were happening, the other assistant coaches are like, better play some death matches now, you know?
Yeah,
it's
get
like
the VLR page, you know what I'm saying? But of course, on the other side, the story is so different. I think expectation again for Fnatic coming into this tournament, we felt like they're probably the best team, 1 and 2 next to Na'Vi. They've just continued to keep winning and winning and winning. But as you remember, Kakuka, with your interview with Boaster, they have protocols for losing. They know how they're going to react and how they're going to, how prepared they're going to be for that when that day comes.
Yeah, but that still has to happen, right? Like, they have those protocols. It's maybe we see them in action, maybe we don't. The thing is that the higher that they get, so more people are going to be, adding up into the queue of people waiting for them to fall, because they get it. The higher you get, the hardest the fall is.
Yes, yes.
In that interview that he had with Bosa, I was actually very happy for him to say what he said, because it's like, from an analytical or statistical point of view, you have to lose at some point.
Yeah.
So better earlier than
not.
later, when the matches are more important, because it's just, that's how the world works.
Yeah, the streak has to come to an end. And also, because this team has never lost a series together, we still don't know how they're going to be. Like, how do they bounce back? You never know. Maybe that's when things start to fall apart. But the good news is, you guys, the issue has been sorted out. We are jumping into Agent Select very, very soon. Again, you two talked about how you want to see Fnatic try something new. Ascent, surely not, right? You just stick with this.
No, totally. Because everything, like, it's not only that the agents are correct, I think it fits perfectly into the players. I think it's too late to change something into Ascent.
Yeah, and we'll see. Oh, yeah, Bosa's on the Omen, so yeah, we're gonna see the mirror comp. No innovation whatsoever here in the compositions, so everything falls in place. This is the meta game choice for so many teams.
Are you guys at all worried a little bit for Wolfen here, just because going up against Durka on this agent is not easy?
Yeah, we've seen Wolfen in particular being extra aggressive, especially on that mid side. On the defense, obviously, because as Luther said, on the attack, it's not the same case. But sometimes he wants to be the star. I think that the rest of the team is trying to enable, but he has been unable to perform. Against Durka, I understand that he is more than nervous.
Well, we will see if Wolfen can take Durka on. Oh, wow, look, someone that's shorter than Dez. I can't wait to see how this is going to pan out. Over to you, Dez and Ender.
Christy.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, you can't see me at all.
No.
I'm just, look, I was trying to relax down here, take a chill pill.
He's been chilling for a while. He's been chilling for a while, but a game is ready for us.
Well, and that's the most important thing.
But it is ready.
But are we ready for the game? That's the real question. Because I know everyone knows that it's just a fact that we needed some time to have our dinner up here.
You did have a banging salad.
I had a banging salad. Thanks for the suggestion.
I held on to mine, and I don't know if that was a good idea now.
No, I mean, now you're going to be eating at like midnight, so.
I know.
We could be in for the long haul here. But if you need a quick refresher on what happened, we didn't have a lot of gameplay back on Lotus. Fnatic made very quick work out of Koi when we were actually in the server. And now we are moving on to Ascent. Koi, to keep their hopes alive, have to come up with something, but it looks like a near impossible task.
It does. That first map was very stompy. I've said a couple of times during the fate, this could be the longest quick series that I think we will have so far in the season. We had a couple of really stompy ones other times. I think we've seen a 13-3, 13-3 at one stage or another, so Koi aren't quite up there for that accolade just yet, but it depends entirely how Ascent is going to play now. Fnatic moving with some pace, but Wolfen who's ready to respond. It's going to be a bit of a battle around tree here as well. Koi has called a mentor even. He swings out as well and makes it a second. Fnatic there caught in a bit of a Venus flytrap, and Koi starts strong.
That was a gorgeous round out of Koi. I'm trying to think back what Fnatic's attacking pistols have looked like on this map, because they seemed completely prepared for what Fnatic were trying to do, from trying to catch out Alfier, who starts in the tiles position and is looking for sort of that late mid play, and then just pincering into tree. That was absolutely clinical.
Door being closed might actually help here, given we're sat in the pistol round. It will at least isolate a 2v2 on the upstairs for now. Really getting that spike down is something. It at least gives them a few hundred credits to play with. However, I think we can all say which way this round will should be going at this point forwards. Wolfen walks in and finds another one for himself. It's a total clean house for the side, of course. They find a flawless round here in the pistol.
That's what the break was for. Coming up with that. No. Thankfully, we have sorted out the monitor issue. So great start there from Koi. Sort of popping out of their smoke down bottom mid and catching that Killjoy. Again, they hear the turrets. They know Killjoy's playing over that side, so.
Just a really smart flank, I thought. I mean, they were
really good.
Ready for the pincer, and Fnatic just walked into it. Played like a fiddle.
Now, I'm trying to see what Koi are going to do with their money. For a second, it looked like an FPX buy. Instead, it is. Maybe it's not. Bulldog switching around to a Spectre, switching to Pistol. Back and forth, back and forth. So a little bit heavier here, but the idea is one player dies, you can have all four heading into the next, and you're going to be very happy. So Fnatic trying similar things with a smoke down bottom mid. Same sort of Killjoy setup, although the turret is in spotting out B main as opposed to on top of tiles. So, well, it doesn't catch a player peeking, you know, from CT or from tree. It doesn't reveal his position.
Come out with heavy armor on a couple of the players as well. In round two. One on the Spectre, one on the ball. Straight over the top. Trying to see what they can find coming in through mid, as that is where Fnatic have grouped themselves up here. Again, wanted to try and force these
that's a deep smoke. They want to fight into CT. See the smoke here? They're going to come around the corner because Boaster teleported up forward. He doesn't actually find a fight, but it's a fun little gamble, I think, on an eco.
I mean, he's playing a pretty good spot. Smoke comes on through, and that's the concern now. Playing it at close range, but can't win it out either. No. Koi just far too tall up here in round two. Fnatic going to fall to the slaughter. Alpha here finding at least one.
Not much of a chance here. About to walk into the meat grinder, so Durka has to find something with the Spectre peeking towards CT, but he will not, and now that that rifle very unlikely to actually be recovered. So Koi react well on the fly, but I like the little wrinkle Fnatic throw in there with the deep smoke. This is a map where it's like just so impossible to push into CT that sometimes if you just throw it out of completely left field and come up with it, you can try to find a cheap little kill in the back, and they almost had that, right? I don't know who it was that walked out of market that almost pinched back into Coldamenta playing near CT there, but the bait of Durka, or Boaster rather, going all the way into CT almost gave him a shot.
Nice how the one side was the recon dart, the other with the smoke as well, to provide full information on what was going on inside of spawn. Just sadly, guns not quite on the side of Fnatic. So we finished those first two rounds. Now we come into that power-up round, and this is where things could get a little bit saucy. And let's not forget as well, this is generally where Fnatic did well back on Lotus those first couple of rounds. Then we saw a little bit of competition coming out from Koi. 4-2 we were sat at after 6 rounds. So Fnatic want to repeat 4 rounds on the bounce, so we can accept nothing less.
A lot of continued mid-presence from Fnatic. The smoke does hit Wolfen, but I think Wolfen's going to try to peek out of this. Not even a flash ready for... I think actually Trex threw a really high flash, because he only has the one in his inventory, but Wolfen ended up not peeking off of that. Now they've actually lost control over bench. Still an alarm bot here, and a lot of players. Koi are realizing that Fnatic love to fight over mid like this, and they want to sort of cut them off at the pass.
It's a very tight and narrow mid control. They're not trying to hold deep in towards A or deep in towards B. Instead, just holding where the possible flanks can come through from either of those sides. As you can see, you have, of course, the Killjoy sat on towards one side, the Sova on the other, but Fnatic look a little bit unsure again. I know I've said back on Lotus that they're a team that are very happy to use the full round timer. They're in no rush a lot of the time, but you stall out here, you just invite Koi to get themselves repositioned, ready for what's going to come at them next.
Yeah, they're also waiting for cooldowns, right? Chronicle's knife just came back off of cooldown as they send the drone in towards A main. Don't really spot much of anything. But if they work into a late B, the turret and the double mollies there are going to do wonders for stalling. It's down to 30 seconds. They got to win through market going quick.
David goes straight in as well. Hit out by the Carano, but it's full white flash himself. Durka can do nothing but wait for death to come. Now Leo's the next one to step up as he comes back towards Pizza.
Wait, they just lost this round. They do not have time to plant.
They haven't got enough time, but they've still got to try and push forward and see what they can take from this one. It feels like bit of a spray through the smoke coming out of Bosa. Does net one. But round is done and dusted, but there's 10 seconds left on the clock.
Guys? Fnatic, I mean, Durka tried to flash in off his teammate. I think there was a counter flash that shuts it down, but then he dies in market. They have to kill the Killjoy, but no one can actually get past it with all of the stalls. Sure, Boaster hangs out, gets one on the opposite end, but that was a peculiar round from Fnatic, trying to sell a fake over towards A with just the drone coming in, then exploding into market, maybe catching a player trying to rotate through or something, or by droning in, you pull that CT player back, but Koi didn't really bite onto it, and then, yeah, they just didn't have time in that. They were relying completely on Durka to win the round.
I mean, you saw the bullet flash coming out of Durka while he was sat there full white flash, and probably didn't realize himself that the man he was facing was having shot by the paranoia, wasn't able to see either.
Oh my god.
But gave himself away.
That is 4 players just going absolutely nuts, just doing everything they can to set up Wolfen.
They surely know. They'll see him first here on the long angle. Sure enough, perspective of that angle working against Alpha here there. However, probably on the read that there was a lot of aggression coming out. It means Fnatic can charge in towards the A side. They've got control of it at least for now, and only the Sobers here to be able to compete against them.
This might be a bit of a delayed retake. Trek spent some time taking the orb in B main after the team had started rotating off, so he's got to get back in. Has a flash to work with and a knife. Fnatic Protocol, you can see very clearly trying to break all that utility. They also have the one way out of tree, so it's very hard to split into the site. And Koi are going to be going heavy up through heaven, where there's a paranoia. The swing! Oh no.
But Durka just can't win it. Again, Wolfen finds his man. This is a position Fnatic do not want to be in. They had the site control, they had the guns. They are going to be broke after this round, as Koi have just charged their way through. They're sat in a 4 versus 1. Leo can do as he tries. But Trex will see to that end. A 4-0 for Koi to start things off here on Ascent.
Once again, the kills just not really finding themselves. There with the paranoia, Durka jumping up into heaven, but just gets shut down immediately. Very surprising. They, of course, lost Alfier right off the rip, but here you have it, just sort of tracking off of a couple of bullets seen on the opposite end. Wolfen's able to find that one. The retake, everyone gets scrambled on the side of Fnatic, so a bit unfortunate now. 2 rounds in a row. The utility has been there, I believe, but it's just not coming together. You can see it is...
Mini's not pleased.
Yeah, definitely not.
I mean, this is not part of the script. Being down 4-0, certainly not a dream start. This is it's kind of this sort of time where I like to see if a team really is crumbling, maybe after this round, maybe even round 6, we see Mini call in the tap time out there and get things back on track. But for Koi, they have held really well against the Fnatic aggression. Admittedly, it's been limited aggression for a small part of the map, and no further. And this time round, it's Koi's chance to go aggressive. Wolfen finds 2, Boaster 1 back the other way, but it's still a painful dent in this Fnatic roster.
2 rounds in a row now. Koi just trying to send it into one of the mains.
Hell yeah.
It's the pivot after seeing so much mid attention early on. It's like, okay, if we can push up, either we encounter someone and we can try to fight our way through, or if we don't encounter someone, we can sort of pinch them off or have a quick flank option on them into mid. Maybe hear them running up cat, these types of ideas. Okay, Alfier just looking for all the spam spots. Doesn't matter what map. It's a journey.
I know, right? A smoky journey at that as well. This trading play coming in between the two rather than worrying about a direct confrontation, instead going for the wall bangs, neither finding each other. Leo is down about half HP, and now Fnatic are trying to make their play in towards the side. Goes Boaster, but walks straight into Wolfen, who seemingly cannot be stopped this map.
Yeah, 4 for Wolfen. Koi take their 5th round right there. Respect to them. These early fights have done wonders for them.
I like a bit of early aggression.
Yeah, I mean, it's shocking because you see the sort of pace of the round. It's like, okay, they win the pistol off of an early mid-aggress, right? Win the second, you know, no real surprise there. But then Fnatic lose on time, and now Koi just sort of ping-pong, push out B, push out A, both sides of the map they're winning. And then very nice looking on the retakes. Fnatic have to do a better job of catching the early fighting, and it's actually Koi that call a timeout.
Surely not. We'll get that one checked in case it wasn't Koi, but I'd be surprised if it was, given how well they've been going so far. Instead, I think an earlier timeout coming in for the side of Fnatic to have this conversation will be most important. And hopefully at this point they can get things back on track. Again, it's a expectation that they come out 2-0 in the series, but Koi may yet be pushing this to be quite a difficult map.
I mean, an early timeout here, just in a half generally, especially like after you have been winning, it seems to me that the coach has has a good read coming on in here. And I believe we have I may have just heard that both coaches have called a timeout. So we have a Koi timeout followed up by a Fnatic timeout immediately after this.
Yeah.
So a lot of time to discuss things. But basically, when a team like Koi calls it in this type of situation, I think you almost have to have a hard read or something that has been happening every round from Fnatic that you're trying to call out for your team and look for an angle to punish.
That's so bizarre. Like, we saw the logos go up and I thought, oh, surely we got this wrong. Only Fnatic, when they're down 0-5, can call this out. There's no way Koi would. But clearly they felt the need to, and yeah, Fnatic, I think, sorely need this time. Probably the wondering also of, if things start going south further into the map, there are no available timeouts to play with.
I'm trying to think about what just happened in the last round, because the initial aggression I thought was stalled, and then I think it was just Wolfen that just swung out from behind a one-way, just didn't really care, had some supportive utility. Koi have been doing a really good job of just setting up those fights Wolfen's taking with utility. At the same time, Fnatic have been using the util, but Durka just has lost out in those fights, even against flash targets. I think the market play from a few rounds ago, when they lost on time, he was actually counter-flashed by the KO on the opposite side, so a bit unfortunate on that one.
I mean, it was a good read by Koi, I'll give it them as well, because Fnatic, for the vast majority of this first half, or at least the 5 rounds we've seen, have either gone direct towards market or up through tree. The actual pushes in through Ale in the early round haven't really been too strong or really present. Instead, holding back more towards boxes and looking to challenge from that angle. So, a good gamble by Koi that ultimately has paid off.
Oh, there are some big ults here with Chronicle and Leo, having those from Fnatic. So, it may have been some ideas for Koi to answer that. Of course, there's an operator now in play from Wolfen. So, I have to keep an eye on where is he actually going? Because right now he's playing Heaven, but that's a very passive op line. I'd be surprised to see him actually take. Right now they have no tree pressure from Koi.
Chances are as well you'll see Cordamenta with the Odin.
I mean, it's possible he's trying to play really far back so he doesn't get caught by the KO ult and then be in a position where he can't dash and updraft out to safety. He doesn't want to play an A or B main, that being the risk there, but I'm a little surprised not to see him contesting maybe for mid.
Cordamenta's one I'm keeping an eye on as well. You know what he wants to be doing here? He's just spraying a lane straight down from Boathouse in towards spawn.
Oh, he's pinging for the Killjoy turret. He expects it's there. He's just underneath it, though. That's tough. He was spamming on the ping, when in reality, the ping hits the lowest point on the ground. So you have to angle that slightly higher up to actually catch the turret as opposed to just the ticket box there.
It's tree hit again. Looks like it is. They're smoked off mid, so tree really has to be the play. You have got Boaster hanging out more towards A-Long as well, but it's going to be about this battle on short that's really going to change things here. Now they know that it's coming in. Starkster comes out for a swing, sprays through the smoke, finds absolutely no one. This time round, Fnatic can play things at least a little bit better, but they're jumping into utility and being
look at the pushing tree! Alfier just went nuts, only trades 1-for-1, throwing the spike back, but now just a bloodbath, kills through smokes everywhere, as Fnatic keep 3 players alive and get the spike to the site.
Absolutely, they're on the site, they got control over, but it's still a 3 versus 4. Not the ideal situation to be in. Here comes Wolfen trying to make a play. It's equalized at a 3 versus 3. Durka gets one back. All hell has sort of exploded here. But TP away, coming in towards Wine.
A scouting ultimate.
Caught out.
Yeah, just wanted to see if there was a player in main. They know there's one now. Now it's main and hell they have to deal with.
Still 2 left on side, though. Brings it down to this 2 versus 2. It's man for man. As Cordamenta finds one more. Boaster trying to bait out the fake TP. But do they have the read? Yes, they do. Shados with the shutdown, and Koi are going up 6-0. Not a line I expected to be saying today.
Koi are clapping back here against Fnatic, 6 in a row. It starts off with a fight in tree. I believe there was a good spam coming through that knocked down the KO right there, okay? Just a bit of a trade. Then Alfier actually had Spike in hand, turned around to throw it back, and was trying to get really aggressive with it. I like the attempt, but only ended up being a 1-for-1. There was another operator kill through smoke too on top of that, I believe.
That was 2 kills in the round. One was an Odin, one was the earlier kill as well, just straight through smoke. It was ridiculous.
And then Fnatic continually in the post plants are always taking 1 versus 1s, right? Boaster got scouted in main, that's tough, but then there was just shot after shot as Durka's just going to go ballistic.
I like the force, but he's got to get a kill for this and will not get it. A little bit desperate to make a play, and they pay the price. Leo, Hunter's Fury, he is that Hunter. Finds him a kill to at least net things up over the 4 versus 4, but Fnatic here, I was going to say, look, they're flagging a little bit, not too sure what to do, and Wolfen capitalizes on the indecision.
Wolfen just shredding Cordamenta holding left click. Oh my god, stop running into it! It's a massacre! Cannon fodder from Fnatic! My God, was that a missed molly? I don't know what the subtle flame of the obs there was, but I believe that's what it has to be.
They just got a little bit too passive, I thought, here. And once it got to a point of Durka charging in and dying, they realized that the smokes were working against them and had to slow things down, which just made sure that on the other side for Koi, 2 players could post up on Heaven. And while you saw exactly what happened next to Coldamenta and Wolfen just mowing them down.
Fnatic seem to have eased up on the mid-aggressive and just trying to work in through sight, but man, Durka unsuccessful. I think there might have been a late knife coming out of Trex that also caught him. So much going down when he was up in outer space, touching the stratosphere. And he looked down for some reason. Now, Fnatic looking for a late A split here. But this could also, actually no, I think this turns back into a B hit. This is the exact setup they used when they fumbled the bag on round 3 and ended up getting stalled out through mid, where they tried to fake a hit over towards A with some attention, pull a rotate, and then tried to blitz it up through mid. We're seeing it with more presence shown though. The dart tag is gonna spot out Durka. The rest of the team now looking to pound in through B main. This is a new look for Fnatic. We haven't seen them try to work in through main yet. Spike is pretty far behind, but there's still Killjoy utility that's ready to stall, and the smoke falls in tree. It's a peek from Wolfen coming around the corner. Now you no longer have the mid pinch.
They've got to try and force this, as we say. At least playing up as a group, but trying to find the players that are sat on site is going to be their main battle. One stepping down deep, Shados in.
Both are dead. Durka was the only one that could smoke CT.
They've got a force, and that's exactly what they're looking to try and play for here. Starkso digging back at least for a second. A quick trade coming in, but again, it's a slaughter for Koi, who are going to be up 8-0 against Fnatic.
Critical errors from Fnatic. Looking a bit lost there. Boaster will usually spend rounds chilling in spawn to make sure he can smoke for his team, but was trying to take a moment to move up towards bench to be a quicker threat into tree, but with no smoke there, he falls, and then Fnatic are just coming in from, you know, out of main where there's just too many angles they have to clear away. Sight's not dealt with, players flooding in through CT, just not fun at all.
Well, 3 players in those gunfights for Fnatic weren't even looking at the main assailant coming out of it. Just showing again a good bit of team play off Koi, swinging in together, setting up crossfires, and ultimately Fnatic getting into some pretty uncomfortable positions. This time around it's Wolfen the one going a little bit crazy, charging on his way forward, looking to get control of the mid connector, and has done so, but now gets taken down by Boaster, punished for that over-aggression.
And now just back to the slot machine. They go in again, trying to take gamble after gamble until they fall down in numbers. Starzo's gonna get cut down, so yeah. Sunk costs and all that. Koi continue to send it on in, and Fnatic are very thankful for the brief reprieve.
Wow.
Oh, okay. You know, personally, I wouldn't do that if I was down 0-8, but I'm also not the best duelist in the world.
I mean, clearly they feel they can make this one work. Trex will give himself away. A-side conceded. It looks like Trex might just try and save here, but Leo's going to give him no outs. How bizarre, and what a contrast to the previous 8 rounds we had.
Yeah, I mean, Koi have been trying to go for some aggressive moves. That, of course, is a bigger gamble than most, trying to instantly catch that player up top of tiles. So you don't actually see the replay. But it was actually a really good paranoia that Boaster threw into tiles to catch out the Jet. And after that, Koi, you could see Trex wanted to peek and try to find an angle to punish. A lot of times when you fall down to numbers, you have to keep taking a risk. Maybe they could have called it off just down in the 4 versus 5, but once they went down to a 3v5, you could see they just kept going back and back up again, and it fell apart, and they're trying the same thing again? Okay.
Maybe they feel it's not that crazy.
Yeah, they don't like that Killjoy turret. Everything, I mean, even back to the pistol, it's been about catching out the Killjoy playing B-side.
Gives them the options more for flanks later in the round if required, I guess, but
I mean,
Fnatic have made it
now.
Yeah, Fnatic have made it relatively binary though. They've always tried to push it through tree or up through mid, as we've seen. Once up through B as well.
Chronicle can throw a lot of utility here. Doesn't quite catch that, but he does have 2 flashes he can try to throw down. And good play from Alfier there. So they swing together as a team, and now, once again, Koi just falling to pieces in mid.
Fnatic seem pretty happy just to let them play aggressive onto them, right? I mean, the location where we've seen the 2 players die so far is basically identical to the last round. If they get a kill on tree as well, it is an exact matchup. But this time round, Koi have pulled back. You can see the 2 players over towards A are rotating their way through towards spawn or up towards Heaven. They don't want to give any more away, given they've already got to stem the bleeding as is.
Both just using the ultimate here to clear out wine. A good play. The only way you really lose a round like this is someone being in a spot that you're not doing a diligent job of clearing.
30 seconds left.
Stark so. Was in a good spot, but they've already ran way past him.
Yeah.
Nice Leo just holding, waiting to poke that head out of the smoke.
Shadows is just one off the ultimate. If you were to get a kill, something could be done, but no, that's not going to happen. Fnatic going to cut down Koi here with 4 players alive. Just no chance in the round for Trex whatsoever. Fnatic are getting back on the board. And look, Koi, they go for this gamble play up mid a couple of times, which isn't a terrible play, but it is very high risk, right? You're playing to get 1, maybe 2 kills on the Jet and hope that can go in your favor. If you actually catch B side being the weak side of the map, you get a kill, then you can escape back out through B main. But 2 times now, that has not been the case.
Yeah,
and
you won't see that again. Now Fnatic has said it twice, they won't try it again.
And the only reason they tried it a second time is because they lost the round. They're like, Fnatic would never expect us to do it again. But it doesn't matter. Very reactable on that play if the kill doesn't come in immediately for Wolfen.
Counter spray coming in from the Odin as they now try and force their way up through the B main. We noticed earlier on, we'd only really seen them go via mid. This hadn't really been a play they've done. But now they're burning out the ultimates and making this one happen. Killjoy's going down, they're on the march on through. As of yet, no one going down, but once that Killjoy's in effect, that's when the Fnatic Storm will come in. And here they go, a second or 2 too early, but still find the opener. They've got side control here, Ender.
Huge. Durka finds the opener. That's been missing for a little while for Fnatic. Now in the retake. Shadows has ultimate, but you have to be able to push up to switch if you're going to lock that one down. Trex also has his. I like Durka, low HP, taking this early angle, seeing the head, not quite finding the kill.
Just cutting off that angle in towards spawn side as well as the Killjoy comes down in response, as you mentioned. It will force everyone back in towards jail, though.
Yeah, Alfier really wants to fight through this one. The drone never saw him! He almost had that kill right there, but he falls. Koi now barreling forward on the retake.
But now they can flood back out and start retaking some of their own side. Fnatic are doing well so far. They found a 2 for Stark, so bites back. Fnatic caught in the jailers as they're not giving that one up.
Great opener there, Fnatic sending the ultimates in, but Durka playing off his teammate's utility to find that first one. And even though they got forced back off the Killjoy, in much better positions in the post plant, even without Alfier coming up big in that main position. Here you have it, just breaking. Oh, he actually missed his dash. He wanted to go all the way up on top of that roof and sort of glide over the edge, but actually helped in the end. The shots were
probably would have sitting dead if it got that far across.
Yeah, I think it would have been fine, but maybe the second player behind, that jet that they flashed, wouldn't have been flashed for the entirety of that one. So maybe there could have been some retribution coming on through.
This would be lit, honestly.
Yeah, Wolfen wants to updraft off of this spam and get a kill with the knives.
Cheeky, cheeky. I think Dalfa does get tagged by it as well.
Dished back more than he got though, so he's gonna say that's all right.
We'll deal.
Now a bit split here.
This is the same again that you saw earlier on. You called this out last time as well when they split across A between mid and A, then hard rotated over towards B. They're doing the same again.
They certainly are. This time Leo just 2 orbs away from the ultimate, so we'll see with Spike and a kill, maybe he can do it. Also, he's usually going to be your second to last one in, so very likely he just grabs the orb after working back towards B.
Here we go, there's only 1 player here as well. They've put 4 across on A.
And they see Shadows running back into sight.
Yeah, and Bosa looking for the cut here. He might get someone for free if he plays this sensibly. No one else is coming. This could be a massive flank. Almost misses on the wall, but does find a second. Coldamenta turns around and finds it. A little bit of a whiff there by Bosta. That could have been round done and dusted. However, they still have site control. It's still a 4 versus 4, but they've got to deal with Shadows sat him back. Finally gets taken out as well. A 3 versus 3 as the ult now comes out from Leo, looking for what he can catch, but the Jet a little bit too tricky to catch and gets on through.
Alfier, they have to deal with him first.
Do they know? They must.
The clock is working down. Alpha finds the first.
Looks for the second. It's just constant 1-for-1s between the two. Only Leo left here. We know he's a bit of a shock dart god, but a clutch god might be a different story and a bit too big of an ass. Got to look for both. Oh! Massive spray transfer for 4 rounds in a row for Fnatic.
Switching sides.
Wow.
Leo!
I would not have seen an 8-4 comeback after that first 8-round start.
I mean, that's just wild. Close round. Starzo taking those 2 fights. I mean, did he even stop moving? I don't really know.
I don't think he did.
Leo equally didn't stop spraying, so he's going to win that out in the 1v2 for the clutch at the very end.
All right, we're going to throw out to Yinsu, who's having a chat with Boaster's mum.
Yeah, thank you very much, Des and Ender. That's right, I am joined by Boaster's mum, Boaster_mum on Twitter as well. I know you're pretty famous up there. Welcome. I know it's been Boaster's lifelong dream to play on a stage like this. How proud are you to be able to see him in real life?
Yeah, really proud of him. Yeah, I'm loving it being here today. I've never been here before, so really exciting.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I will say though, being a Fnatic fan is kind of stressful. I know you've been through a lot of stress.
Knows how stressed I get, and I usually have to go away, go do something else, and then I'll just sort of look back in.
Yeah, peek in.
Yeah, and then think, oh yeah, we're doing all right now. I can look again.
I feel like you're living every Fnatic fan's a nightmare, I feel like, when they're losing. Is that how you deal with it, though?
Yeah, it has to be. I can't watch the whole of the game because, you know, especially like that, the loud one, you know, Brazil.
Yeah. That was me as well. I was like that.
I can do that. But all the games and everything, I watch everything and I, you know, interested in all the players. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite player besides Boaster?
Oh no, not at all. I like them all.
Equally?
Equally.
Is there anyone that you're excited to see outside of Fnatic?
I was excited to see all of. There they are. Yeah, Jake's team and Minnie and everything, because you know he's been there from the beginning. Yeah, and then just everybody else. You know, I mean, I know the name Scream, of course. And
that's incredible. No, that's more than my mum knows, so yeah, that's incredible.
I do know quite a lot of the names, and I know a lot of the people, and I do follow a lot of the teams, and I know where they all sort of stand. But I don't fully understand the game.
Don't worry. I feel like some players don't either.
See who's dying, who's getting shot.
Yeah, I mean, Boaster's... He dies a lot, so you understand that at least, yeah.
And the score.
Yeah, well,
I'm getting better though.
Thank you so much, Susan, for joining me. Make sure you give Boaster Mum a follow on Twitter as well. And I'm going to pass this back to two people that definitely know what's going on, Des and Ender.
Thanks, Yinsu. I tell you, that was adorable. I tell you what, you could not have written a script that was better to show a classic esports mum interview live. What I love is that Boaster stared at his monitor for the whole thing. He refused to look and encourage it or anything. He was fully focused on winning the game, and sure enough, it started out strong. It's that opening kill onto Wolfen.
Yeah, Wolfen falls, and he was such a beast in the first half. They actually let him buy light armor and sent him a frenzy, that's the gun, as well, to get in there, but he ends up falling down. It is a trade with Durka. So they're going to late split back into mid. They've left Trex in B main. I actually wonder, do they go all the way to A? I think that ends up being the call, and they try to use Trex to sort of catch a player on a rotate.
Double bait.
Hold on. I think maybe he heard the Omen taking the footsteps. He heard Boaster running off the site, so that's why they're bringing him back here. It's fake on fake on fake.
I love it.
It's literally just Taylor Swift.
The back and forth, the dance, the up and down. It does look to be that B hit coming in. Big question really being here, do Fnatic have the read? There is at least one here. This fight is so critical, and Alpha Year is so clinical. Finally gets taken down, but it's still down to a 1 versus 1. Chronicle versus Trex.
30 seconds left.
Steps up for one. Both down to about half HP here, a couple of taps.
Enough. 5 seconds. I mean, he can't run to A anymore.
There we go. Oh, Chronicle. Just a touch better here. The Fnatic keep the spree going. 5 rounds on the bounce.
God, these rounds are so close. Number 1 versus 10 in the standings. Fnatic crush on Lotus. And Koi go up 8-0. But now that's 5 in a row for Fnatic. I mean, just every single kill being traded out. This guy is just tracking through smoke there when his teammate dies in order to get the trade. Some of the trades they are finding just frankly ridiculous. Lining that one up off the map and off the sense of the shots.
It's what I'll give, and you've touched on it there. You look at the previous round we were in at the end of the last half. 1 for 1 for 1 for 1 for 1 for 1 the whole way through until it comes down to this 1v1 at the very, very end of things.
So like you're trading up. I trade up from a grain of sand to a mansion. Just trades all over the place. Alpha.
Okay. Good night. He looks for a second as well. He's expecting the peek here and sees it. The narrow angle working against him ever so slightly, but still walks away on full HP.
round a bit of a wash.
Oh, not.
I gotta keep my eyes just trained on Wolfen every single attacking round. He was so good on defense.
Yep,
If Koi were to come away with an upset, he needs to continue that. And also, like, the flashes, like, Trex was doing a lot of left kick flashes from high up to set him up for peeks through smoke and whatnot, which I always appreciate, as opposed to KO's just right click it being through a smoke and saying they're pop flashing, and it just flashes for no duration, and then, I don't know, I'm old. But that being said, I like Trex's flashes.
Some built-in trauma there that's coming out in the broadcast, I think.
Look, I heard Nilthar complaining about his teammates not talking in solo queues, so now I get to go through all my grudges. What do we have?
30 seconds
We have
left.
smoke players taking first contact and dying. We saw that once for Boaster. It's been better since.
Initiator's not using the flash.
Yeah, or again,
Duelists
doing lazy right-click flashes. Let's learn some lineups. I've liked it so far. As you can see, Wolfen up at 17 throughout. Durka had a very poor starting half. And again, like sometimes on the attack, you're just sort of cannon fodder flying in there. But I think there were a lot of times where there was good utility use from Fnatic, and he wasn't finding it. You know, I remember sort of the bullet tracers that Wolfen was tracking on and killing Durka even while he was paranoid and whatnot. So that'll have to turn, especially once an operator gets in Durka's hands. No surprise that he can sort of spin it around on a dime here.
Real difficulty, I think, is
just like that. Yep.
That's the kind of aggression and confidence you want to see out of Durka.
Actually, hold on. Remember when it was 8-0, Durka got the kill on the guy Heaven and then unloaded his entire clip into the body?
Yep.
Fnatic haven't lost a round since then.
No, they have carried on. Found that confidence somewhere in round 9 that has clearly carried them the whole way through. Althea into another. On course of potentially, I was about to say on course of potentially a second flawless round here, and they are not stopping. Finally, they get one back on the other side.
Down A.
We call them enter. Left in a 1 versus 4. Fnatic almost about to draw things even.
I respect
the gamble for the gun.
Can he just run to B and get the orb there? Literally, that's probably his best play. I mean, Koi are full armor buyers on round 3 on the anti-bonus. So this actually is a swing round for them. So saving this rifle is important.
Anything they can take at this point.
So it makes making the mad dash for the orb a little bit less likely, but I would still like to see it. I could also be trolling. Maybe someone took it at the start of the round.
30 seconds left.
Actually, maybe Durka took it when he got the kill. I don't think so. That would be a crazy orb to take. I would probably be upset if my Jet was taking that orb after getting a kill and not just falling back. Speaking of pet peeves, overextending after you get a numbers advantage.
It's expected to push, but no one on Fnatic looks to be wanting to play that game right now. Why would you?
Left.
Things are absolutely rolling in their favor. And this round will be done. Up to 8 and 7. One more to go until things are drawn dead even. Which feels crazy to say. I know he said it was crazy to say that Koi were up 8-0 against Fnatic, but probably even crazy that things will be very quickly heading towards an 8-8 scoreline.
Well, the other thing, too, is because of the way these teams view the economy, I do believe Koi more often than not are upgrading into full armor. Like, when you don't play the light armor sort of like Fnatic buy, you have swing rounds, right? Fnatic, even if they're losing rounds, if they lose like every round, they'd be lucky to not have a buy 1, maybe 2 rounds out of the half. But you get into a pattern now where if Koi continue to lose rounds, continue all-inning with the buys, it's lose 1, you actually lose 2. Whereas Fnatic, even if they drop 1, they can still keep going again and again and again. So we'll keep watching that. The rifle that was saved was given over to Wolfen, who's playing back towards mid. Looking for a tree peek, but Boaster just jump peeking. Has the bullet graze past his toes and isn't going to want to deal with that anymore.
Looks to be the split into A. Considering the tree, the two of them with 2 playing up through long and getting a little bit closer. They have options to play behind, but it's been smoked off here pretty quickly. And now comes the step forward. Tree is in their favor with 3 players pushing in. True trying to push in through main as well, so this is where we've got to see some good reactions out of Fnatic. See 3 players all rotating in through spawn at exactly the same time. A lot of them being pinged down. Wolfen wins the 1. Into a second. Althea was looking for another, but it's Trex to bring it back on side. Site control is in the favor of Koi, but so many players are stacked up in heaven here for Fnatic.
Leo Shockey is looking for the poke. It's big chip down onto Kolda. Well, Chronicle is just farming up from heaven. Starzo alive with just a frenzy.
Gonna try what he can, but simply nothing to be done.
No.
All things drawn square. Fnatic at 8 and 8. The alarm bells, no doubt, now ringing for Koi.
Just the one gun they had on Wolfen there. So Koi doing a good job to keep it close. Now, Trex has the ultimate, and oh no. I don't like seeing that. The TP coming in and ruining everything. It's like you wake up
like
day after Halloween.
It's like
and
you're talking
just-
about another Riot game there.
See, I was making
coming in.
I was making a toilet paper reference, but yeah, if you want to compare that to League of Legends,
It's such a
that's
versatile little acronym. I love it.
fine. Teleport, you might be trying. We have that in this game too. An Omen TP.
We've seen the double TPs a couple of times today.
Yeah. Oh well, no, because Bind was banned. I'm keeping up though. I'm keeping up. Yeah, well done. All right. Do we see any monitors turned off? I'm gonna go to. Oh no! We lost a man. Durka is gone.
As he asleep.
There's
Or
no.
gone?
There's just an empty chair.
Oh.
I don't actually know what the situation is.
He's actually gone. Okay.
Yeah. So that.
That is
Empty
where he
chair.
normally sits.
Yeah, that's a classic streamer moment where you just abandon mid-game. We'll see what exactly is going on. I hope he is doing all right.
Hopefully it's not a medical thing, but we'll find out. And if we can update you, we shall. Still, crazy game. Touched on it already a few times, but to start out the 8-0 for Koi to the bounce back for Fnatic, feels like they've really built up that confidence here and are just ready to keep on pushing through for the 2-0 win.
I mean, they can't stop winning now. It's 8 in a row.
Not forgetting as well, they're also playing a second series this week, as are Koi.
This is true. This is very true.
And I
think
believe
they're playing tomorrow. Fnatic playing tomorrow, I believe. I
forget.
It's back to back. I think Koi get a day off.
Bam. I mean,
but you know, there's smarter people that would know that.
Koi lose both of their games, they are donezo. This one looks to be going the way of a loss. I was going to say slowly, but here it has accelerated very quickly.
I'm going to hold out some tentative hope here, right? Second half, right? They lose Pistol, round 2, of course. Then you know they've only had like 2 real buys, I think, since. So benefit of the doubt is they've lost 2 real full buy rounds, and they've had some very close rounds, even going back to the Pistol. Again, Wolfen was a machine. Like, what is this swing? Going in behind the one-way, the timing of it going down right at the last second. I actually missed that when it was live, but that was sort of the timing of the swing. It was in that last second of the duration, but Wolfen was doing such a good job. Fnatic, some uncharacteristic mistakes. Now, of course, on defense, it's looking much simpler for them, but they get in a position to sort of enable Wolfen around the map.
I mean, so much of it back in that first half, we mentioned it, but a lot of the replays, you'd see 2, if not 3, maybe even 4 players just being gunned down without even taking a direct gunfight, just expected to get pushed from somewhere else, and before you know it, overwhelmed by the side of Koi. Has been a very different story in the second. I'm sure I'll have an update shortly as to what is going on, and we can get back underway.
But I promise it's not a monitor.
No.
I promise.
See, when you first were like, oh my god, I thought you were going to be like, oh no, 3 monitors have turned off. And I was going to be like, oh no.
Well, look, I was concerned, okay? Durka's making his way back to the stage. To a cheer from around the arena. We can play the video game now. Everyone's excited.
How can a man hold so much power?
We love video games.
Pause an entire broadcast, an entire game.
Look, you just wanted the classic standing ovation. He's smiling over there too. Nice of him to join us, you know, I must say. No?
No?
I'm gonna guess, and this takes us all the way back to the start. When I said TP, it could have been impactful. Anyways, there's no way of knowing. We'll have to ask the interview afterwards. But surely we are going to be hopping into the game in just a moment. I see a countdown. I see the round beginning. We are back into the game.
Yes, we are. And let's see if anything changes after that. Because for Koi, it has been 8 rounds without a win. Very back and forth in terms of the overall blocks being won, but not so much in the rounds themselves. Killjoy available for Alpha Year as well, which could make this a little bit of a battle on the side of Koi, though you are, of course, looking in towards the KO, which they have available too.
Alpha's been pretty solid on the side holds. Good for at least 1, a lot of times 2 for Fnatic. Respect there. They're going to run into potentially Durka as he tries to time the swing after the drone. Omen smoke goes down though, so he's going to be blocked off for the moment. That's what I was talking about. Enable Wolfen, get him up through mid. It's a market split. They know Alpha is here. Where's the flash to get him in? Actually, Trex is playing in main, so he's just going in without anything?
I mean, the paranoia followed through 2 seconds later. It was just too late. A little bit of mistiming on the side of Koi. They're out of sync and out of luck. Absolutely decimated by Fnatic once again. That small mistake potentially costing them the entire round, as Alpha Year will not be stopped. It's his market, and he's giving up absolutely no ground. Finds a third for himself. Fnatic go flawless. And you can kind of see again how that small mistake, the mistiming on the paranoia there, cost Koi everything.
Yeah, I really don't know what the issue was on that one. Of course, yeah, Paranoia should just come in, but if there's no Paranoia, they're still swinging around the corner here. Wolfen going ballistic on that one. They also, like, it wasn't like he immediately went sprinting up. There was time to throw that one out. The delay allows the wrap to come around from Catwalk as well, and to sort of cut off the players before they can get into market. That was just poor, I believe, from Koi. Getting ahead of themselves, Wolfen not able to have the impact, and now you can actually see Wolfen going for the hero rifle because he's going to have knives going into the next round. Shados as well, so they have enough for 3 players to buy going to the next. I think they're calling a timeout immediately afterwards.
Attack timeout.
Oof.
Ouch. I mean, looking at it this way, again, 9 rounds down. That round was a mess. Arguably the messiest that we've seen of the other 8. Maybe you can look at some of those and go, that's on Fnatic. They just played things better, but there, you've given them that for free. Constant 1v1s, not quite timed up on the utility. It's well played by Fnatic, but ultimately a mistake for Koi to rectify moving forwards.
Yeah, it's a tough timeout too, because you have to do a bit of scolding at the start. It's like, okay, we just need to make sure the timings are coming together on how we want to hit that, but then also coming in with a plan into the next.
Is that what you call scolding?
Yeah.
That was very gentle for a scolding.
Look, the thing is, you only have 60 seconds in a timeout. Like, it's actually really hard to get across like multiple points in a timeout. I got to actually, I mean...
No, it's more about how soft your scolding was.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I would, if this was VOD review, you go ham at them, you know, but you only have 60 seconds. You can't do much flaming. You just say you literally have to do that better. And I think it's the same setup. Coach literally just calls to run it back, but util has to be here this time. Actually, it's slower. No Omen smoke, it's delayed. The drone is gonna come in to try and clear market as opposed to Cat.
And this time around, they've got a second player on Pizza, so they're actually moving a couple of players around here, potentially. Durka the one, of course, on the Jet, able to get back to safety easily, is the one holding on Pizza. So more committed this way this time.
I think Chronicle threw a flash for Durka to peek into mid, and they just kill Wolfen. So the round is just cooked instantly. That rifle was not recovered in mid. I'm pretty sure Koi still had the 2. They might have changed their buy.
This is looking rough. Oh no. I mean, now they've lost their lurk as well. They've only got the 3 players out towards B main. And they're staring down the barrel of the smoke. There was the nano swarms down, everything working against them. Durka's got him behind them, and they're just completely cleaning up once again. Fnatic will not be stopped. This will be their 10th round in a row.
That hurts. I mean, the entire timeout was to restructure how the utility and space was taken around mid.
And you don't even get to use it.
You don't get to use it. You just die before you actually get in a position to fight. I don't know if Wolfen was swinging before the drone actually cleared it through. It was just a late swing, yeah, like as the drone's going around the corner. It's like, it's hard to fault Koi for playing there because they're going at the right time, I think, but yeah, that's just Durka being Durka. Durka back online. Was absent for the first half largely, but now has made Wolfen really struggle to find anything in his openers.
What I will get to Fnatic was they exploded into mid there. They got the tree kill onto the lurking player, and then immediately 2 players, Durka and Chronicle, step down in towards mid and get that backstab set up looking for the 2v1s constantly. It was really good kind of in-the-moment decision-making that, as we can see, paid off spectacularly.
Trickle holding a deep up angle back from Raptors. Allows him to, you know, avoid or take that wide angle if the Killjoy will get slammed down here. You can see he wants to move over into that corner. Killjoy's really far away from the team. Wait, they're just hitting A, but Killjoy was lurking out B when you have a Killjoy ult.
Slight shoot ducks to the Carnival. Durka just holding at the long range here, doesn't really care too much about the smokes either, as you know, they're not going to push in directly. And once again, Koi have lost 2 players, lost a bunch of utility, but are having to rotate away and try and do something else.
I mean, I think playing into mid here is overcooked to the extreme. I guess they're saying Starso could maybe ult into B if they were trying to go for it, but I think you just save.
It's so hard because they've had to retake ground they've already lost as well. They don't know if all this is necessarily clear, right? They've got to reclear this with 30 seconds on the clock. 1 player towards B, 1 towards A, 1 sat in mid.
He's actually going to get a plant off. No way, right? Okay, no, Fnatic haven't overbit yet. I thought for a second, but it's not convincing enough when you just throw like one piece of util.
I mean, he's going to save?
Yeah, it's a full save.
That's unfortunate.
I mean, at the end of the day, getting a plant off here does not matter, I don't think, because Fnatic are going to 11 regardless, right? You've lost this round, so I'd rather have 3 rifles with Fnatic on 11 than potentially just the 2. So I think that's the right call, just to back away. If anything, these peaks in mid, a little bit ambitious from Shados. Does Fnatic have a buy from here to the end of time?
That's the battle.
They've invested in like every single like long-term investment possible.
Just the read. I mean, on both of those kills as well, the read through. Nice and easy.
But here we go. Like, Killjoy ult, if we're going to work into a site, you got to be working with the team. Shados was playing to sort of restrain that B-side aggression. Now he's with the team. Now, Alfier has ult for retake, but Coldement is going to use his to be able to destroy that. It's also possible for Koi to try to late play into tree with one player walking down catwalk to break that one so they can save Colda's ulti for the post plant.
Here we go, trying to push their way forward. Surely this amount of noise has been noted by the side of Fnatic with 3 players over here. And there comes the Killjoy. If that isn't any kind of committal towards the push, then I don't know what's going to be. Still for now holding pretty passive. Yeah, no. Expecting a swing, but none yet coming through from the side of Fnatic. Alpha here though, it's still here, this is the problem, it doesn't matter. He doesn't care about the fact that there's the Killjoy coming through, as they're still able to find the kill, and the team can now look to flood back in.
But there's a half second on the dart that would have revealed Durka. The timings are just slightly off of Koi and it hurts them. Now we have the late walk up from Shados to try and catch out the Killjoy ult on the retake. You gotta watch for that.
Finds out 4 in the back of it as the Hunter's Fury comes through as well. Here comes Shados. Things looking up slightly for Koi. Into a 4 versus 4, Durka into the 1 versus 1, which Starkso wins out. They found 2 more. Koi finally bounced back. Okay. It feels like they have.
Huge play there. Shadows finds the 1, then Koi mopping up in the post plant. Doesn't matter that Durka finds that initial kill. After that, some great utility from Trex to take a couple of fights. And the operator will be recovered.
Not that they're needing to pick this up, really. The money they've got sat in the bank will cover them for a few rounds, that's for sure.
Now, good news is Alpha did not actually slam the ulti, so still going to have that one. Now the timings on Colda's ult there is also going to be desynced, so if it ends up being a retake again from Fnatic, they're going to be much more ready for that cat crunch, because now they know that's the only way Koi have of actually interrupting that ultimate. Here you go, you see the dart comes out. Wolfen, half a second, he's fine. But tries to capitalize on it immediately, is punished.
It's been a couple of times he's got himself a little bit far ahead of the utility rather than the patience game, and the coordination slightly off at points, but it's a round win.
Yeah, it's hard to fault, you know, like the timing is so close, and then also, like, maybe there's an option, a world where he smoke dashes his way out when he wants to save it. It's just a tough spot to be in. Now, Boaster, they are going to be aware of that, I believe.
I love this. On 2 different fronts, Fnatic have gone really aggressive in towards B main and A main. They've battled their way forward. It's forcing Koi back and forcing utility to come out just to retake some easy ground. They're getting slaughtered once again. A 5v2 for Fnatic. And Koi looking all out of sorts here. It's going to be up to series point in this next round.
They just, Fnatic have neutralized Wolfen. This guy had 17 kills at the half. I think he has 19 now. He's gotten 2 kills in the last 9 rounds. And it's because Fnatic are just murdering him with utility. Durka's found him a couple of times with the openers. The entries have been just ever so slightly off.
But Durka's going to miss that one. Trex down to 6 HP. Nothing but a dream. I think we all know exactly which way this one's going, and I'm with you
okay,
as well.
hold on. Do you think he gets the save off playing Hell the entire time in the corner? Because I think if he didn't move, he actually would.
He gets that and a kill.
Because who saves a rifle on the site, under the site?
30 seconds
No one does that.
The only battle is the damage that you do is probably greater to yourself than it is to them. Again, Fnatic aren't wanting for money. They don't mind if you go for a one-for-one here. Is he going to try and get out of this one? Valorant is now a sneak detective game. We're trying to get out a dodge.
Why is he looking? Don't look for a kill. He's wealthy. It actually doesn't matter. He's fine. He's got the dollars. If anything, maybe he's trying to like charge up and get an ultimate online. I'm deep in the sauce now. But there you have it. Wolfen just caught out behind the
tinfoil hat well and truly out.
Yeah. This is a brutal round. It's Koi scatter. When they lose Wolfen on one side, they know they have to accelerate on the opposite, because now you've lost your dive player. So your only hope is to take an opening fight and quickly scale before the rotates can come through. But that is
man, Durka's 19 kills now.
Wait, Durka has just a small like cornucopia back there.
I swear the 2 Jet players have done the full swap for the sides as well. Because Durka was like 6 kills or something silly earlier on, I think at the 11th round. And now look at him.
Look, make no mistake, like, it is fun to play Ascent as Jet, not as really any other agent, but Jet just gets to have a field day on defense. The amount of aggressive plays you can do, the offing, whatnot. Here we go, split into the site.
Straight in towards the turrets as well as all the utility comes out. You see one of those nano swarms get a kill off the back of it too. Durka's up there, had enough of the op, switches over to the ult instead.
Oh no, Shados just fell in mid to Chronicle as well.
Oh no! I thought it was a kill for the shot ball coming through, but no! Starks are the last one left standing. 4 members of Fnatic standing in before, and it may have taken us a while to get there. But it's a Fnatic 2-0 as anticipated. A comfortable win.
Yo, a comfortable win, right, after they go down 0-8. Literally, they went 13-1 after that.
Since that point, that's it. After that point, they were fine.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a comfortable win with a scare in the middle.
Yeah, I think Mini's not going to be thrilled with those first 8 rounds.
Oh,
like,
no.
There was some sauce all over the table. You know, it was just absolutely everywhere. The 7 different coffee cups Leo had spilled everywhere. That wasn't actually the reason we had the delay.
I mean, they need something to analyze and work on, right? Those 8 rounds, it gives them that. It's the tinfoil hat.
Yeah, that's actually genius. Intentionally play a little bit loose so that your coach doesn't focus on like your game. Boasters like calling that game. It's just
we're sick of him picking little tiny things wrong. Let's give him 8 rounds to focus on for the next couple of days.
He needs to have something to work on.
Well, they play tomorrow as well, of course, as you said, I believe. So they've got to play a second time this week, as do Koi. If Koi lose that game, they're done. They cannot qualify for playoffs. They are over and out, as we know. Fnatic have already done it, of course, as well.
Now we get a quick little drive-by of the map before, because Lotus happened like 3 hours ago, I want to say. It's been a little while. But all things considered, Fnatic on their attack were just dancing around Koi. Koi had this one play towards Mound, which I like in theory, but in reality, Fnatic were just beating them to the punch a couple of times. The timings, I think, was a big issue throughout the game. It's not like it's unlucky timings from Koi. These are things where maybe the utility just a half second off, whatnot, ended up faltering. But at the same time, some positives to take away. Wolfen's first half and what Trex was doing with utility behind him really gave them a good shot in this and was the reason they were up 8-0.
A game of minutiae at points to start, especially in the second half of a set just then, as we saw. Just maybe Wolfen getting a little bit too aggressive there, a bit too big for his boots in certain moments, right?
And there you have it. Fnatic, after the 8-0, go 13-1 and clean things up. And they remain at the very top of the standings. I'm just waiting for a team to actually be able to take them down. You know, everyone sort of sees them as the final boss already, even though we aren't anywhere. Actually, we are very near playoffs. But it is getting down to the wire, and we have yet to see a truly strong fight come against them.
It's threats of, is there going to be a dynasty coming? And it feels like it may well be on the way if Fnatic carry on. Well, let's throw it to Yinsu, who's down on the stage with Chronicle.
Thank you very much, Des and Ender. That's why I am joined by Chronicle from Fnatic. Now, Chronicle, thanks for the heart attack, you know, on Ascent. We don't usually see you go 8-0 down. Talk me through what happened.
I mean, what do you mean usually? We played 3-11 against Loud. I think it was kind of worse, but still we did a comeback.
Yeah, but is there a reason that you felt like you guys did end up going 8-0?
I think most of the time at the start of our attack side, we snowballed our mistakes that we did. Like, we did one little mistake, and after that, it just came like a snowball. We had just start making more and more mistakes after that. It was annoying, but I'm really happy that we deal with it and just maintain our focus on the last rounds, and we won.
How did you deal with it? How were you able to turn that around?
I mean, I was always trying to be focused. Like, I will not say about me, it was just like our problem as a team. So I think it wasn't a big problem for me. But I was missing a lot of lineups, so it's not a good thing for me on Ascent.
It's okay, we didn't see any of it. We didn't see it. Now, in terms of the map vetoes, I think everybody was really surprised. Usually, when back in the days when Icebox is available, you always pick Icebox. But now, when teams ban Fracture or whatever else, you tend to always pick Haven. But today, you didn't pick Haven. What was the reason for that?
I think we were confident in our Lotus against them. That's it. Nothing else.
Would it be fair to say that now you qualify for playoffs, you're more willing to experiment or try some new stuff as well?
I think we are just trying to not show more strats or some plays like than we already showed. So I think we can experiment something in our next matches also, but I just think we will just play some our default game.
You're not saving strats, are you, Chronicle? You're not saving strats, are you? It's a meme. Everyone's always memeing about it.
Yeah, we are tryharding even though we are qualified, obviously.
Yeah.
Believe.
Okay, well, that's definitely a troll answer. Now, we heard Boaster talk about how he was mentally very prepared for your win streak to come to an end. Is that the same for you? Do you guys have any protocols for if and when you do eventually lose?
I think it's a bad sign if you're mentally not prepared for losing a win streak. It's kind of strange. I mean, with wins always comes some losses. You need to be ready for that, and I think if you're not ready for losses, you're not ready to play on the stage.
How do you prepare to lose? Because you guys have never lost. You don't even know what that feels like with this team, so how do you do it?
I mean, I lost so many tournaments, I lost so many matches. I lost one of the most important tournaments on this game, so I actually don't care about losses anymore.
You don't. I mean, I think it shows in the way that you guys play as well. I think after what happened last week against Vitality, where it was a closer 2-0, it was still a 2-0 this week, but I think people are starting to say that maybe, you guys do have some weaknesses, maybe some areas you need to improve on. Is that how you feel too?
No, we are just maintaining our strength to prepare for the playoffs, and if we will qualify, obviously, to Tokyo. So we are preparing for Tokyo also. When you already secured top 1 or top 2 on a regular season, you don't see any reason to show something more or try hard as much as you can, because these matches actually doesn't really matter. Yeah, obviously for someone else like Koi or like Carmine Corp in the future, these matches will matter, but for us it's not. That's it.
Thank you for your honesty. Now, last question. You are going to be playing against KC tomorrow, like you just said. That game means a lot to them. They have to win that game. It's not really the same kind of vibe for you guys. So how do you go into that game and stay motivated? Because I know you still do want to win, but when there's no stakes anymore, what's your mentality?
I mean, at the same time, it's very good to keep our win streak alive, obviously. And also we are going in regular season without any losses, with only one loss map. It will be a good thing to finish the regular season with 0 losses, because it will show how strong we are compared to any other teams in our region.
So even if you do lose, do you still feel like you are still one of the strongest?
Yeah.
That doesn't change. The results don't change. All right, thank you very much, Chronicle. It's great to chat to you as always, and thank you for joining me. We're going to head to a break, but don't go anywhere, because a very